Roger, the clock is operating. We're underway.
You're loud and clear.
Roger, we're programming and roll okay. A little bumpy along about here.
Roger. Stand by for 20 seconds.
Roger. We're smoothing out some now, getting out of the vibration area.
Roger, you feel max Q, flight path is...
Roger, feels good through max Q and smoothing out real fine. Cabin pressure coming down by 7, okay, flight very smooth now. Sky looking very dark outside.
All Roger, reading you loud and clear, 7, Cape is go, we're standing by for you.
Roger, Cape is go and I am go. Our capsule is in good shape. Fuel 103, 102, oxygen 78,100, cabin pressure holding steady at 5.8, amps is 2.6. All systems are go, indicating 6 Gs. Roger, 0 G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around. Oh, that view is tremendous.
Roger, turnaround has started.
Roger, capsule turning around, and I could see the booster during turnaround just a couple of 100 yards behind me. It was beautiful.
Roger, 7, you have a go, at least 7 orbits.
Roger, understand go for at least 7 orbits. The Friendship 7 can see clear back a big cloud pattern way back across toward the Cape. We're all set. This is very comfortable at 0 G. I have nothing but very fine feeling. It just feels very normal and very good. Have very little dirt floating around in the capsule, just a little bit. And preparing to take xylose pill at present time. This is Friendship 7. The head movements cause no sensations whatsoever. Feel fine. Reach test, I can hit directly to any spot that I want to hit. I have no problem reaching for knobs and have adjusted to 0 G very easily, much easier than I really thought I would. I have excellent vision on the charts, no astigmatism or any malfunctions at all. I feel fine so far, over.
Roger, understand.
This is Friendship 7, have beautiful view of the African coast, both in the scope and out the window. Out the window is by far the best view. Part of the Canaries was hidden by clouds. Roger, how you doing, Gordo? We're doing real fine up here. Everything is going very well, over.
John, you sound good.
Roger, control fuel is 90,100, oxygen is 75,100, amps are 22. All systems are still go, having no problems at all. Control system operating fine, over. The only unusual thing I have noticed is a rather high, what would appear to be a haze layer, up some 7 or 8 degrees above the horizon on the night side. The stars, I can see through it as they go down toward the real horizon, but it's a very visible single band or layer pretty well up above the normal horizon, over.
Shortly, you may observe some lights down there. You want to take a check on them out to your right, over?
Roger, I'm all set to see if I can't get them in sight.
Roger?
Roger, I do have lights in sight on the ground, over.
Roger, I understand it. Just off to your right, then?
That's affirmative. Just to my right, I can see a big pattern of lights, apparently right on the coast. I can see the outline of a town and a very bright light just to the south of it. On down.
And Rockingham, you're saying that.
Roger, the lights show up very well, and I'll thank everybody for turning them on, will you?
What is going on, everybody? Let me turn down the old music here. Okay, I haven't actually done a Lightspeed launcher, I don't think, in the new house, and I've changed up some of my audio settings, so if everything, we'll see. Does it sound okay? Does it sound alright? What's going on, everybody? Good to see ya. This is going to be a spoiler chat. It is just unavoidable, guys. You know, if you haven't seen the movie, I would dip out of here. But just because it's going to be unavoidable. I apologize. So, steer clear if you have not seen it. Anyway, I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. I hope you guys like The Rise of Skywalker more than I did. If you guys watched my video, I'm pretty 50-50 on it. I liked some stuff. The vast majority of things didn't really hit me. It's by far my least favorite sequel trilogy movie. Oh, one sec.
I watched Star Wars in 4K via
Nice.
4K 77 and 4K 83. Gorgeous restorations. Wish they had Empire, but also watched the unaltered editions via a Grindhouse edition of the film.
Hell yeah, Caleb Kemp and Carter Lovejoy. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. If I change the stream title, okay, let's see. All right, I'll put it there. How the hell do you guys avoid spoilers just living on life? There we go. All right, everybody. So yeah, I hope you guys like the Rise of Skywalker more than I did. As I said in my video, there's some things that I liked about it, but overall it was just kind of just a big meh for me. It didn't really do much for me. A lot of it felt very fan fiction-y, ham-fisted, forced, and out of place. Didn't feel like a sequel. It felt like just kind of a complete, I don't know, a sidetrack. Not all that interesting. But anyway, I hope you guys liked it. There's a lot of Star Wars movies that I like that people don't like, so it's all right. No, there are spoilers in this chat, man. It's going to be unavoidable, so I apologize if you guys have gotten spoiled, but steer clear for sure. Carter Lovejoy, thank you guys for the super chat channel support, man. Carter Lovejoy, my biggest juice. I love this, Carter. My biggest, juiciest theory for The Rise of Skywalker. Somebody once told me the world is going to roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. When that came across the old super chat there, Carter, and I was still playing the intro music, I kind of sang it out loud. Kind of got stuck in my head. But I appreciate that, Carter. Did any of my theories come true? Spoil it. I don't care. No. Oh, you haven't seen the movie? Carter, get out of here if you haven't seen the movie. This is going to be a spoiler chat, guys. You know, I apologize, but it's just unavoidable, man. Unavoidable. Everybody's going to be running their mouth about it. But yeah. But I appreciate that, Carter. None of your stuff came true. None of your stuff came true, which is kind of surprising. Some of it was golden, man. Some of it was golden. But I appreciate that, Carter. And Caleb Kemp, for my rewatch of... Oh, where'd it go? For my rewatch of the saga leading into The Rise of Skywalker, I watched Star Wars in 4K via 4K 77. Oh, hell yeah. And 4K 83. Gorgeous restorations. Wish they had Empire, but also watched the unaltered version editions via a Grindhouse edition of the film. Nice. I know that the Grindhouse version exists. I've never seen it, though. But dude, the 4K 77 is beautiful. I don't have 4K 83 yet. 4K 77 is very hard to run on my computer. If anybody's interested, doesn't know what I'm talking about, just Google 4K 77. You'll learn all about it. But I've been wanting to... I think I'd be able to stream it to my TV. I just need to get, because in the new house, I have multiple locations in the new house, like where TVs go, that have a hard wire, like a Cat 6 cable coming out of the wall. So I should be able to plug my TV directly into, the Cat 6 cable and be able to transfer like 10 gigs a second or something like that through Cat 6 internally. So I should not have an issue streaming 4K 77 to my TV. As soon as I get that sorted out. But Caleb, that sounds like a dream, man. All I watched was I watched a little bit of The Force Awakens a couple weeks ago, and then the Last Jedi a couple days ago. That's all I really had time to do. And by watch, I mean glance over from time to time as I played around with my daughter. But that's about it. Caleb, I hope you enjoyed it, man. I appreciate that. Caleb says, magical experience watching the Unaltered OT for the first time. Oh, for the first time. Interesting. Yeah, and you watched it in a way that is just completely authentic to the theatrical through and through cut. There is no A New Hope. There is no Episode 4. It is Star Wars. It is a print from 1977 in 70 millimeter, directly ripped from that original negative, from that original reel rather, and gorgeous. You could not have picked a more authentic copy of A New Hope in the OT for sure. But hell yeah, Caleb. Goldfish Prime, thank you so much for becoming the latest member of the fleet, man. I greatly appreciate that. If everybody could do me a big favor in the chat and say, welcome to the fleet, Goldfish Prime. This still feels weird. I'm in the new house, and this is like the second or third time I've streamed, and it just feels, I sound different in this room. It just, the lighting is different. Everything is different. I'm still getting used to it. Anyway, Goldfish Prime, thank you so much for becoming the latest member of the fleet. If everybody could do me a big favor and say, welcome to the fleet, Goldfish, I would appreciate that. But yeah, Goldfish, you get a special role in the HelloGreedo Discord server, and I also do monthly Q&As. I have not done December's yet, just because December has been chaotic with the move and just everything going on. I'm probably going to end up, honestly, combining December and January into one big Q&A for the first time in this channel's history. That's going to happen. It might have to go down that way. But anyway, Goldfish Prime, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for becoming the latest member of the fleet. All right, let's see. Minato Namikaze, thank you so much as well, man. McClunky right back at you. Was that just a reference to how you felt about Rise of Skywalker? I guess McClunky is a decent way to describe it. Maybe McClunky is too harsh of a word. But yeah, Minato, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. And Grant Guthrie says, biggest flaw of this movie was pacing. That's absolutely one of the biggest things. The first third especially just kind of felt like, what? Ping pong. We're playing ping pong here. Did a watch of New Hope, and the lack of gaps in the action to focus on the characters was almost shocking. That and time seemed to mean next to nothing. Continued. Oh, you're continuing it. Okay, let me see. We found the blank, scramble the fleet troops, and our mains would be in peril within a minute or so. Characters and people were just there at perfect times every time. Movie had great spectacle. Oh man, Grant, here we go. Oh, you're continuing. No, I completely agree. The pacing of the movie, that's what I said in my video. It felt so messy. It was a very messy movie. It's just kind of surprising. There was really no time to breathe, which, I mean, it was go, which is fine, but it was messy go. It was kind of incoherent go. It I don't know, and a lot of it was just kind of like, get a thing to a thing to do a thing and unlock a thing and get a thing and then do a thing and get a thing, and you got to go here to get a thing and a thing and a thing and a thing and a thing. Just a lot of things, a lot going on. And it was one of the things that, yeah, I didn't really care for, to tell you the truth. The pace, that was when we got out of the theater, that was the first thing my entire group said, was like, geez, especially the first third was just kind of rough to get through. And then, it started picking up. It started, or at least turning into an actual puzzle. You could see the pieces, and it kind of looked more coherent. But then it kind of, I loved Lightspeed skipping. I thought that was such a fun little thing, Sean. For whatever reason, I just, I thought it was such a fun, I don't know, just a weird, fun little new thing in Star Wars, Lightspeed skipping. I enjoyed that. I even mentioned it in my video. how I thought that was just kind of a neat little addition, you know, something new. But Grant, I'm with you, man. There was just, I don't know. There was no, it almost seemed like there was no, I basically laid it out in my video. I actually have a few more scripts being written. And, you know, it is what it is. I really liked, as I said, the Rey and Ben stuff. That was, without a doubt, the strongest point. I felt that the addition of Palpatine just felt very ham-fisted and goofy to me. As I said, it felt very fan-fiction-y, you know. Well, and the Emperor's back, and he has 1 billion Star Destroyers, and they each have Death Star lasers, and everybody's a clone. There's 50,000 Emperor clones in a big auditorium, and they're all chanting, and right? Yeah, there was a lot that I liked about it though, but it felt very kind of, I don't know, it felt very unimaginative to me. I don't know. But we shall see. But I appreciate that, Grant. And Stephen W. Fothery, thank you so much, man. I had a bad feeling about this ever since we learned the Emperor was returning. Turns out I was right to have my doubts. It sucked, but I liked Rey and Ben. Yeah, Rey and Ben was without a doubt the strongest point of the movie. Stephen, we probably see eye to eye, or saw eye to eye when Palpatine was first announced. It was kind of, for me, it was like a what? Like a what moment? Why are we doing this moment? And in my head leading into the movie, before the movie came out, Steven, I was like, you know, it's going to be, sorry, I don't know if you could hear me accidentally smack my microphone. Leading into the movie, I kept thinking in my head, and I even said it a lot on this channel, it's going to be subtle, right? I kept saying, it's going to be subtle. You're not going to see Palpatine shoot force lightning out of my fingers. I'd be very surprised, or his fingers. I'd be very surprised if we saw that. I just thought it was going to be subtle. No, it felt like a fan film to me. You know, it felt very. I don't understand. It's like, I don't know. That's one of the biggest things that I kind of it felt goofy to me, and it seems like a lot of people loved seeing that. You know, Palpatine again. For me, it really didn't do anything, you know. It just felt like the sequel trilogy took a complete different turn and a complete different direction that almost felt a little very pointless, you know. The final order, okay, out of nowhere, there's just this enormous army. All right, I'm sure it's going to be explained. I personally don't really care if it's explained or not. Not everything needs to be explained, and sometimes things just are. But didn't it feel like super goofy? To me, it did. I think the addition of the Emperor in the sequel trilogy is such a jarring, out of place thing, in my opinion, at least. And it just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I like that as well, Peyton. I mean, like, internally in the movie, the scenes were great with Palpatine. The scenes were great. The interaction between Rey and Palpatine was great. I thought internally, when you look at the scenes themselves, without thinking about it too much.
Was having Rey be related to someone, a trope I despise. I find that it makes the universe smaller, and I would have loved the fact that a nobody could rise to the challenge of a Jedi.
I could not agree more, Christian. Well put. Give me one sec, guys. I'm a little long-winded with these super chats. I apologize. But yeah. Crap. What was I? Where was I? But yeah, Steven, I'm with you, man. I'm with you, for sure. And the French-Canadian Wolfman, thank you so much as well. When Kylo and Rey were fighting from different locations, I couldn't stop asking myself, were folks in the village seeing Kylo swing left and right at nobody? I didn't even think of that. That's funny. Yeah, probably, I suppose. Yeah, despite not thinking of that, and potentially it would be goofy looking out from the outside, you know, looking at that. I thought that scene was pretty brilliant. That was one of the stronger kind of connection scenes that we had in the movie, right? That lightsaber fight where they aren't necessarily there, but there's physical elements being passed back and forth, and then there's the necklace that Kylo rips off of Rey. It's analyzed. It gives away. I liked that entire sequence. I liked that connection. I liked how the First Order found out where they were through that kind of physical passing of that necklace. I thought that was pretty great. But that is funny to think of, Wolfman, just masked Kylo Ren swinging around his lightsaber. And then, I loved all that connection stuff for sure. But anyway, I appreciate that, Wolfman. And Caleb Kemp, I haven't watched your vid yet, but agree 50-50 for me too. I liked it, thought it was good, but not great. Maybe a rewatch will help. I don't know. Yeah, I tend to think rewatches always help. The only Star Wars movie of the modern era, Caleb, that a rewatch has kind of negatively impacted my perception of the movie is Rogue One. When I got out of the theater for the first time with Rogue One, I was like, it was okay. It was okay. Maybe I need a second viewing. And after a second viewing, I actually disliked it more than I did after my first viewing. But all the other, the Solo, Force Awakens, and The Last Jedi, after those three rewatches, I like them more and more and more. So maybe The Rise of Skywalker will kind of grow on me with kind of follow-up viewings, but it's gonna be a while. It's hard enough to go to a movie like once a year with our kid and find a babysitter and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm definitely gonna obviously I'm gonna watch it again, right? Multiple times, but yeah, we'll see. Pretty 50-50. And Bailey Clifford, thank you so much. How do you feel about a Knights of the Old Republic trilogy? Just pure, speculation on this? They haven't announced. I saw Knights of the Old Republic was actually trending on Twitter. I don't know why. Well, it's not anymore. It was. Weird. Anyway. For me, maybe a trilogy set in that era would be great. Maybe a trilogy set, in the Old Republic era, I would love that. But I wouldn't necessarily want characters that we already know, that people are familiar with, that people played in the video game itself. I'm always pushing for new, and I think that's an era that I would love explored on the big screen. But more than that, I think an Old Republic era TV show would be kind of neat, right? 10 episode seasons, a little bit of political thriller, a little bit of political drama in there, letting the story breathe with episodes would be fun too. But a KOTOR movie or trilogy, as long as it just takes place in the era and it's not just a bunch of stuff that we already know, right, or that people have played before and they're just kind of transcribing things that happened in the game into a movie. But because that kind of stuff has never interested me. I've never understood why. I mean, I get it, right? But Star Wars has never taken a thing from something else and turned it into a movie. Like, you know what I mean? Star Wars movies are kind of set the tone for things. Star Wars movies are what bring new concepts, and for the most part, and the idea of just making like a Star Wars movie based off of a video game, zero desire to see that. A Star Wars movie based off of a book, even. My favorite Star Wars book is Bloodline. I wouldn't want to see a movie based off of that, I want my Star Wars movies to not be based off of things that are already existing in Star Wars, if that makes sense. But anyway. But I appreciate that, Bailey. And Caleb Kemp, once again, 4K 83 looks like a legit official Blu-ray release. It's so good. Check it out. It's beautiful. I absolutely will. I absolutely will. Yeah. I probably can't talk about it too much, right? But yeah, I definitely will. I don't think I actually knew it was available yet, to tell you the truth, Caleb. I don't. Maybe it's been out for a while and I just haven't been paying attention. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Caleb. I'll without a doubt check it out. And Viral Edge, thank you so much, man. I was very sad Ben died, but let's face it, him and Rey would have made the most messed up child. Rey's power and being a Palpatine, in Ben's anger. Yeah, for sure. I liked that entire moment. I liked the... Dude, I had just immeasurable chills when Rey is standing in front of Palpatine and the glow of her lightsaber is bouncing off of her cheek. And there's that force connection there between her and Ben. And she realizes that Ben is there. And they have this like kind of I got your back moment. And then the transfer of physical material through that via that lightsaber through that force connection. I love that. I think it's such a fun addition. Because every Star Wars movie kind of adds powers and stuff like that, right? Every force abilities. Every Star Wars movie seems to give new force abilities. And while we did see a lot of that in The Last Jedi with the transfer of rain, that kind of stuff, this kind of pushed that even further, and I found it really interesting. But yeah, I liked what became of Ben. He became who he was in the end because of his mother. I don't know. I like that. I like that moment for sure. It was a really good moment. But yeah, I appreciate that, Viral. And Grant Guthrie, once again, we found the... Wait. Oh, wait, I already read this. Right? Oh, I did read that. Okay. Oh, there's another one up top. All right, I'll get to that one in a second, Grant. The French-Canadian Wolfman, once again. Yoda with 800 years of Force knowledge struggles lifting the pillar Dooku dropped on Annie and Obi, but Rey with little training stops a ship mid-air. BS. Also, don't forget Clone Wars cartoon. You want me to continue watching Clone Wars cartoon? The 800 years struggles, all that kind of stuff. That kind of shit doesn't bother me whatsoever. Training, whatnot, that kind of stuff has never bothered me. I don't know why. I don't see, force powers and stuff like that as some kind of level up video game where you put a lot of training and stuff like that into it. I don't know. Does that bother anybody else? It doesn't bother me whatsoever. I mean, I don't know. It was an exciting scene, right? Once again, it was with Ben and Rey, and I found whenever they were on screen together, that's when I liked the movie. That's really what it boils down to. Whenever the two of them, they have chemistry, they're fun to watch together. They're at odds, but also, relate to one another on a deep level. Whenever they're on screen, it was enjoyable, and I thought that was a fun moment. But yeah, French Wolfman, I'm actually going to be watching the Clone Wars after the next episode of The Mandalorian. That's when I'm going to get back into watching the Clone Wars. I think I have like 20 episodes until I'm finished with season 6, I think. But yeah. So yeah, French Canadian. I'm going to be finishing up the Clone Wars, and instead of doing episodic videos, I'm going to be doing entire arc videos. So yeah, just a little better with time management and stuff like that, So I'll probably start doing that with the last episode of Mandalorian is next Friday. So I'll probably start that the following week. Probably around the 1st, January 1st or so, is when I'll jump back into the Clone Wars, but yeah. All right. And Grant Guthrie, once again, thanks, man. Palp's super lightning worked for me. Felt the same as Iron Man getting hit by Thor lightning and getting 400 plus power capacity for a big shot. Drain the life / power of two very strong force wielders. Yeah, I mean, It wasn't a bad scene. It's just kind of like... Oh, I know what you're talking about, Wolfman. Yeah, I apologize. I apologize. I should have realized that. It's still sitting there in my watch folder right here. Star Wars Clone Wars Volume 1, Volume 2, 2004, 1080p, upscale remastering. They're both sitting there. Absolutely, I'll get to it. No question about it. Yeah, Grant, it didn't bother me necessarily. It worked. I think maybe the only reason that I just found it a little meh was the entire idea of Palpatine being back, and whenever, you know, he was there or he was doing something like that, it was kind of a moment of just where I just thought like, just why? It's I don't know. I just don't like the concept of him being back. I mean, you guys know this. I'm a broken record at this point, but the idea of characters constantly being resurrected and constantly coming back, you know, Darth Maul, Boba Fett, maybe the stories that get created once they're resurrected are good, but just as a concept of bringing dead characters back over and over again is really unimaginative to me. But yeah. Anyway, I'm glad you dug it. Most people seem to have, but I appreciate that, Grant. Let's see. To be what's up, Luke? Oh, one sec.
That a lot of my friends have said they absolutely love the movie. Weird that I'm now on the receiving end of glowing reviews while I just merely like it, but happy others love it even if I can't.
There you go, Caleb. That's the best way to look at it. No question about it. Give me one sec, guys. Give me one sec. What's going on, Luke? Good to see you, man. Luke Fredericks, to be fair, JJ has only ever had one pace, ludicrous speed. There you go. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny, Luke. During the build up and the behind the scenes footage of The Force Awakens, when we were kind of gearing up for that movie, JJ Abrams talked a lot about you need to let the story breathe. You need to have some downtime. That downtime in The Force Awakens came like at Maz Kanata's castle for the most part. A little bit during when Han and is first meeting Rey and Finn. But with this movie, there wasn't that much of that, right? I mean, it kind of just kept going and going and going and going and going and going and going, which is fine if you're looking for that. It was exciting. It was, but yeah, it's just kind of interesting how. Did you hear my burp? I apologize, guys. It's Friday. I ate horrible tonight. But it's just kind of surprising, Luke, too. To look at some of the stuff The Force Awakens would be talking about and then just seeing this, but anyway. I appreciate that, man. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're flying all around. If you're still here. Caleb Kemp, my biggest issue with the movie was Rey being... Spoiler. The movie would go from 6.5 to 7.5 if that reveal alone wasn't there. Yeah, well, this is a spoiler, chat. For those of you who don't know, why are you on the internet if you haven't seen The Rise of Skywalker yet? No, the fact that Rey is a Palpatine does nothing for me. It's not interesting to me. It feels so goofy and forced and just like, okay, I guess, all right. Okay. The real interesting story there is that she is a nobody. She rose from nothing to become greatness. Don't we all love that kind of story, right? From nothing to greatness. A nobody in this universe becoming something. To me, that is far more interesting than just a line. You're a Palpatine. Yep. You're a Palpatine. You're his granddaughter. Okay. It did not add anything to the story, in my opinion. Just kind of a line in there. I don't know what, just to make certain people happy. Is that what it is? I don't know. Just seemed a lot of that kind of stuff just seemed very, maybe predictable, maybe just, I don't know, ham-fisted. That is weird. It's like, when I sit back and think about it after watching it, I go, man, a lot of the things that I absolutely did not want to happen, happened. Oh, Ray's related to somebody. Neato Bandito. How cool. Neat. Palpatine's back. Cool. Sweet, dude. He's shooting some Force lightning. Rad. Like, I don't know. But yeah. Anyway. I appreciate that, man. And Blue Bones, thank you so much, man. Love the channel. Semi-excited to see the film. Dude, you haven't seen the film? Blue Bones? Blue Bones, what? You bail out of this chat. You've already heard everything. Bail. But I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the kind words. And yeah, get off the internet until you see the damn movie, man. Grant Guthrie loved light speed skipping, felt goofy, but the right kind of Star Wars goofy, followed with it's on fire, the whole thing is on fire. Yeah, no, Grant, I loved the light speed skipping. That was a fun way to start the movie. I thought that was just, you know, boom, boom. I started like doing one of those like like awesome giggles, you know, in the theater when you see something fun in a Star Wars movie. Yeah, light speed skipping was a blast. You know, something like that is inventive, right? Something like that we've never seen is just fun to witness. Something that has existed. Any character probably could have done it in the past Star Wars movies, but it's something fun and new. And I really enjoyed it, for sure. But I appreciate that, man. And Vince Wynn, I've still got 4 hours until I see this damn thing. I've heard nothing but terrible things. I can have my own opinion of it, but I'm halfway between excited and dreading it. No, don't. Well, get off the internet, Vince. Get off the internet, Vince. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, what are you guys doing here? No, don't dread it. Absolutely no, don't dread it. I seem to be in the minority opinion, at least from the people that I've interacted with. Both online and in person. It's kind of interesting. I usually, not by any predetermined desire or anything, but I often find myself agreeing with critics more than what you would consider like an audience score. I don't know why. Maybe it's because when it comes to Star Wars, I'm a movie fan through and through, more than you know, I like movies, right? I like good movies. So I look at things not just from the perspective of like Star Wars. Yeah, I look at it as a movie. So a lot of what I don't like about it just comes from that perspective, I suppose. But yeah, get off the internet, man. You got 4 hours. What are you doing here? Go watch it. But I appreciate that, dude. I hope you're having a good one. And JJ, Luke Fredericks, once again, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. JJ kind of read Dark Empire and sort of went with it, but not really. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I haven't looked into that. I actually never read Dark Empire. I vaguely know about it, just as being a Star Wars fan, you know, in the periphery. And a lot of that kind of stuff, the cloning. I don't know if there's any other things. Exegol? I actually, in the theater, I was like, oh, I wonder if that's pulled from something, but it turns out not. I thought maybe that was some kind of Legends reference, but no, as far as I know. But yeah, it just felt really weird to me, Luke. Like, it was like just a mashup of things that maybe. It's like if you went through a Reddit thread and you saw what people wanted in the movie. It was just like a fucking mashup of just a bunch of stuff that various people have said that they wanted in the movie, and just let's all just pile it in. Let's get it all in there. Go. Just get in. Push. Go. Get in. We can fit a couple more. Go. Get on the elevator. I don't know. But yeah, Exegol is a cool name. I like it a lot. Is that how you spell it? I thought it was Exegol. Oh, it is. Okay. Exogol. It is how you spell it. Nice. Oh, it's with a. Oh, okay. But yeah. There we go. Cool. Let's see. And Christian Raven, thank you so much. The Emperor was a mistake in my opinion. So was having Rey be related to someone. A trope I despise. I find that it makes the universe smaller, and I would have loved the fact that a nobody could rise to the challenge of a Jedi. That is a great message. That is a great idea. I can't believe that they didn't pursue it. I don't. It's an. Christian, we see eye to eye on this. I get everybody's Star Wars is different. I get everybody. We all obviously want different things from this franchise. I have a hard time understanding why some people want everything to be related. I just can't get myself into that mindset because, as you said, it makes the universe feel small. You're just kind of mulching over the same stuff over and over again. The idea of a nobody from nowhere becoming something is far more interesting than just being related, So I agree. I felt those two things were extremely forced. The Emperor, the Final Order, Rey being a Palpatine, it felt so. Honestly, it felt extremely out of place. And I'm baffled that they did it. But yeah, it's weird. Anyway. I appreciate that, Christian. And Rise Carter, thank you so much, man. What did Finn want to say to Rey? They built it up for nothing, and force healing undermines Anakin's storyline. Anyways, blessings to you and your family. I appreciate that, man. Right back at you. The force healing undermines Anakin's storyline. Well, the force healing. Yeah, force healing was. I believe that's been seen before, right? I feel like I've force healing Star Wars. Oh, well, it's in The Mandalorian, right? Okay, so I mean, it's in video games, right? But have we ever seen it in a never seen it in a movie? And I'm looking at Legends here. There's actually a lot of things, but I don't know if we've ever seen it like that. I don't have a problem with it, but I understand why some people would, if they're looking to. Oh my God! There we go. Wikipedia, stop popping up audio when I'm live streaming. Yeah, I can see why some people would have an issue with it, maybe, as kind of creating. Well, it doesn't really create plot holes. Everybody has different powers and stuff like that. So I don't know. It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me. As I've said, every Star Wars movie introduces new Force powers. This is another Force power. It was kind of intriguing. It was used a lot, right? It was used on Kylo. It was used on that creature in the tunnel or whatever it was, and then it was used on Kylo again, correct or no? Was it just those two times? I don't know. Can't remember. But yeah, I don't know what Finn would want to say to Rey. Maybe Finn knew Rey's secret. Maybe that's what he wanted to tell her. Or maybe he wanted to pour his feelings out to her. Who knows? Could have been anything. That's going to be speculated on for sure. Maybe. But Ben healed Rey. Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. Luke Fredericks, thank you so much, man. TV series set during the Mandalorian Wars before the games would be great. Spending more time on that conflict and its effects on everyday people. I love when we jump into the meat and potatoes of like society in Star Wars, right? See the effects of, as you put it, everyday people due to these wars and the conflicts and whatnot. Yeah, that would work. I mean, I guess we've had that in the Clone Wars, right? But a live action show would be fun with that. For me, I would probably pick a different era to make a show about, or a different timeline or something completely new. But before the games, interesting. Yeah, that would be neat. If I could pick, man, I don't even know. I think if I could pick a show right now, Luke, to make a Star Wars, live action show of, I really don't know. It would probably be like an Old Republic thing, and it would be more of like a political drama, I guess you could say like Game of Thrones in a way, people vying for power, but it would be more, I don't know, it would be maybe more West Wing. I don't know. But yeah, that's not a bad idea, Luke. I would probably pick something different, but yeah, there's so much, there's so many eras to explore, both that we already know, thousands of years before the Phantom Menace. Gotcha. I did a Mandalorian video not too long ago, didn't I? Dude, I actually, Luke, before the Mandalorian came out, I actually wrote a extremely long history of the Mandalorian people and the planet and everything, and I wrote it out. I kept thinking, I'm gonna get to this, and then the show debuted, and I went on YouTube that day, and I saw like 30 people uploaded the exact same idea that I had, but they executed it. I didn't. And I learned a little bit. I kind of did a memory dump of it, but why is The Empire Strikes Back trending right now? It's been so weird seeing all this different stuff trending. Anyway, but I appreciate that, Luke. And Old Cabald, thank you so much for the silent support there, man. I don't know if you meant to type a little message in there or if you wanted to be a silent supporter, but I appreciate the hell out of it through and through. Thank you so much, man. And Bailey Clifford, on the KOTOR subject, I agree. I personally want to see a real Empire versus Republic dynamic during that era. Let me take a quick sip. Sorry, guys. Yeah, as long as it's different, right? As long as we're not really familiar with it, is when it gets interesting to me. That's what's interesting to me, like about the Mandalorian, for example, right? Sure, it's called the Mandalorian. We know of his people, we know of their history, but this is an unknown character and an unknown scenario. So unknowns, new is interesting to me. So like a KOTOR or that era show or trilogy or movie, whatnot, would be great as long as it's kind of following that same path, right? That different, that new, that fresh. But yeah, I have no idea what the future holds, Bailey. I can't even guess, begin to guess what the hell is going to be coming down the pike when it comes to Star Wars movies, at least. But yeah, I appreciate that. And Owen Cabald, thank you so much once again. In paper, I hate the movie. On paper, I hate the movie. In execution, I enjoyed it. Do you think a director's cut could make it better? A director's cut? No, for me, the things that I had an issue with, pacing, kind of the choppiness of the movie, yes. But the things that I don't really care for are so big that a director's cut really wouldn't matter. Things that just kind of, things like the Emperor being back, it really doesn't do much for me. Rey being a Palpatine, cool, okay. You know what I mean? Things like that, a director's cut would do nothing about, you know. And a director's cut, J.J. Abrams isn't really known for doing that. He's actually recently been quoted talking about the special editions and whatnot, and he's saying that, you know, if he had that revisionist mindset, it would drive himself crazy. You know what I mean? So I don't even think he would do that. But I don't even know what you would do to kind of clean it up with a director's cut. So no, I don't like the idea of a director's cut. You know, they just put the movie out, made the movie, let it be what it is. Theatrical versions all the way when it comes to Star Wars movies. But yeah, old Kobold, I appreciate it. I like the name, by the way. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but it's a fun name to say. Old Kobold. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but it's fun. And Minato Namikaze, thank you so much. Once again, was Palps really confirmed as Anakin's father? So aren't Kylo and Rey related? I think that was always alluded to. I don't think there's any canon like confirmation making that factual. But I think it's always been alluded to. Certainly headcanon wise, that's what a lot of people think, right? A lot of fan theories and speculation and whatnot out there. That's what where their mind goes, for sure. So if you want to look at it that way, that's kind of interesting and a little weird, right? You know, not Anakin's father in terms of conventional father, right? Influencing the midichlorians to create life is kind of what you're alluding to, I'm assuming, Minato. So perhaps if you look at it that way, you could spin it and say, sure, Anakin's father, but I don't think there's no blood there, so it's not weird, right? Oh, they confirmed it in the comics. Really? Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that. So there's no blood there. It's okay. But I appreciate that, Minato. That's what you get when everybody's related. Yeah, man, we can't keep track of all this stuff. Nobody can be a nobody. Everybody has to be related. French Canadian Wolfman. I'm talking about the 2003 Clone Wars I sent you. Yep. Yeah, as I said, I have that still saved in a folder up at my tip top of my browser there. And I absolutely will. I'm planning on watching it when I'm done with the Clone Wars the episodes that I still have left of the Clone Wars. And then leading into Season 7 of the Clone Wars. And I'll probably watch 2003 Clone Wars after all of that Clone Wars. So, well, yeah. A lot of Clone Wars to watch, for sure. But I appreciate that, Wolfman. The Manlin Man. I really wish the movie was split into 2 parts. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on in this one, right? A lot of I don't know, it did feel very disjointed and disconnected from the rest of the trilogy, which I didn't like about it. And maybe 2 parts would have been better to kind of tell the tale and kind of let things breathe and give some twists and turns. It felt very, very straightforward. It was a very, very straightforward movie. So maybe chopping into 2 parts would have helped the overall narrative and allowed a little bit more time for things to breathe and a little bit more exposition. But yeah, it is what it is. I don't know. I haven't watched this. I don't know why this popped into my head. I haven't watched anybody's video and I haven't read anybody's review. The only video that I watched was Alex's video from Star Wars Explained, and I couldn't really concentrate on it because I was feeding my daughter lunch. I just had it as background noise, so I didn't really gauge it. But I think maybe he sees eye to eye with me on it. I don't know, but from what I heard, he was I don't want to take him out of context or put words in his mouth, but I think maybe we see eye to eye on a few things, which is interesting. But anyway, I appreciate that, Marion. And Tom Farrar, good to see you, man. Personally, in my opinion, I don't think Palpatine being back ruins Vader's redemption, because I think it was about Vader willing to save his son rather than whether or not Vader succeeded in killing him. Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's not even, like, I'm an OT fan, right? That is my trilogy. And if I feel like if anybody was going to say, oh, that ruins Vader's redemption, it would be old HelloGreedo. And I'm not saying that, you know. To me, it doesn't ruin it. Like you said, it's about the Vader internal struggle, right? It has nothing to do with that. With sorry, guys, I got 8 bad phlegm burps. I apologize. So yeah, Palpatine being back and my kind of dislike of that has nothing to do with like the Vader redemption or perceiving it as being ruined, quote unquote ruined. It just is a fact of like why it just feels forced, out of place. So no, I don't feel like I don't feel like it's it ruins the redemption. But yeah, I'm with you. If you're not 42 or older, I don't care what you think. I'm not 42. I'm 33, my friend. So run. Get out of here. Run, man. What are you doing? Listen to me. Caleb Kemp. One thing I'm happy for is that a lot of my friends have said they absolutely love the movie. Weird that I'm now on the receiving end of glowing reviews while I just merely like it. But happy others love it, even if I can't. No, yeah. That's the best attitude to have, Caleb. For sure. And it's an attitude that needs to be spread, right? There's Star Wars movies, and I've been guilty of being kind of, I guess, shitty in the past, like 6 years ago, 8 years ago when I started this channel. Nowhere near the level of people's vitriol and whatnot, shit slinging on social media for sure, but it's an important attitude to have, right, Caleb? There's Star Wars movies that I love that a lot of people don't like. There's Star Wars movies that I don't like that a lot of people love. And who gives a shit what other people think? You like what you like, you dislike what you like, right? And you try not to be a prick when you're talking about this stuff, and realize that everybody's Star Wars is different. A lot of you guys, when you think of Star Wars, you think of the Clone Wars, right? A lot of people's Star Wars is the Clone Wars. For me, when I think of it, and I'm boring probably to a lot of you guys, but it's the OT. That's my Star Wars, and a lot of you guys, probably the prequels are your Star Wars, and the upcoming generation in 10 years, they're gonna hop on the internet and this is gonna be their Star Wars, right? So once you realize that it's a generational thing, there's no reason to put people down for liking or disliking a movie. Haha, that's really neato, cool. Like, why? Who? What a waste of breath, right? It's fun to throw your opinions and stuff like that out there, but when it turns to, like, of all the things to sling mud about, right? You're gonna sling it about Star Wars? I don't know. It's just dumb. Just dumb stuff. But anyway, Caleb, yeah. Everybody I've come in contact with said they liked it. You know, the group that I went and saw it with, when we got out of the theater, they liked it. I was by far the most negative person out of the bunch, which tried not to be. But yeah. Anyway, Caleb, I appreciate that, man. And Grant Guthrie, yes, please watch old Clone Wars. That's the plan. Mandalorian, or now Rise of Skywalker's finished. Mandalorian has 1 episode left. 2, I still need to watch the episode that was released on Thursday. So those 2, and then I'm going to be watching Clone Wars, the 2008 Clone Wars series, finishing that up, going into the next season of Clone Wars. And when that's done, that's when I'm going to be watching the 2003 old Clone Wars. So, a whole bunch of stuff coming down. Whole bunch of stuff. Should be fun. But I absolutely will get to it for sure. But I appreciate that, man. And Reform Cat, thank you so much. The Rise of Skywalker totally negates Anakin's story. 6 movies build up to this climax of Vader's redemption. Undone by Palpatine returning in defeat by Rey instead. Well, technically, I guess if you look at it from a certain perspective, it was a clone, and it may be potentially, maybe that is the way to look at it. And as Tom said, Vader's redemption is not the act of throwing the Emperor down that shaft. It was an internal redemption, right? Externally, yes, he killed the Emperor. There's a clone, but it's an internal redemption. It's overcoming that. Vader, Anakin overcoming, I guess, the dark side and becoming what he once was, saving his son. I don't find that it ruins or negates Vader's redemption at all, in my opinion. Which I guess I can see why people think that, but for me, that thought has never popped into my head, and it's never been something that I've really ever considered. People have been talking about, Palpatine being back is going to ruin Vader's redemption since it was announced that Palpatine was back in one of those trailers, like a year ago. And even since then, I've just been like, nah, it doesn't. Vader did what he did, and it was a redemption. It was still a redemption, right? Anyway, I appreciate that, Reform, and I guess I get it, but I'm not in that camp for sure. And Oscar Rodriguez, thank you so much for the silent support there, man. I appreciate that support tonight. I don't know if you meant to type a little message in there, or if you wanted to be a silent supporter, but I appreciate it all the same, man. Thank you so much once again, Oscar Rodriguez. And Mr. Wolfman, I was pissed they tossed Rose aside for 2 new chicks. Oh, man. Also, is Finn gonna pick a girl already? Each movie sets up a potential relationship. Oh, yeah, that's true. I didn't really put 2 and 2 together. That's funny. Maybe not. Maybe he's just not interested in anybody. Maybe it's just Rey. Maybe Finn, good guy Finn, is just hopelessly in the friend zone. Maybe that's Finn's arc. But I didn't think of that, Wolfman. That's interesting. Rey, Rose, and the actress's name is Aki, right? Naomi. What's her name? What's her character's name? Crap, what's her character's name? Janna, that's right. Janna. That's right. But yeah, Wolfman, I appreciate that. And Tidy Wire, good to see you. Do you think this devalues Vader and Luke's story? No, I don't at all. I mean, I can separate things, right? Do I think... I don't know. Do I think... I don't know. I kind of do a separation in the same way that sometimes I separate prequel stuff from the OT stuff. I can look at them kind of internally as their own stories, as their own arcs, as their own redemptions, as their own journeys. And no, I don't see it as devaluing Vader and Luke's story. Vader and Luke's story still exists, right? The universe continues, and there's going to be new adventures and stuff like that. So does everything that comes next, or everything that comes next, negate or devalue the thing that came before? I don't see it as devaluing. Yeah, I don't see it that way. But I've really tried to think about that in terms of like seeing it from people's perspective that do think that, but at the same time, I just don't agree with it, and those tales are still there. They still did what they did. Vader still, saved his son. The story is still there, and the universe continues to live on with new tales. So I definitely don't think it does. I could absolutely see how that would be a very easy thing for people to bitch and moan about, but for me it's not something that I have an issue with. But yeah. And Wolfman, bail from the chat, man, bail. Was that 28 minutes ago? Oh my god, that was to Vince, right? I've already been going for over an hour. This has flown by. Good God. But yeah, if you guys are still here and you haven't seen the movie, what are you doing? Bail Organa, bail. Kyle Ellis, what's your ranking of Star Wars movies and shows now? I haven't done a ranking, Kyle, of shows included with movies before. It's kind of hard for me to do, to tell you the truth. All right, so here's my ranking. I actually thought about this morning. I might actually do a video, just a ranking video. We'll see. But it comes as no surprise. My top 3 Star Wars movies are in this order: A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. And then it goes, I think, The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens. Those flip all the time at the moment. I like The Last Jedi more than The Force Awakens. I think it's just because, as I said on my video, The Rise of Skywalker made me appreciate The Last Jedi more. Anyway, so A New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi, The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens, The Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith, maybe, and then Rise of Skywalker, and then Solo, and then Rogue One, and then Attack of the Clones. Yeah, and I haven't finished the Clone Wars. I haven't finished Mandalorian, and I haven't finished Rebels, so it's kind of hard for me to, include those into the mix there. But yeah, so A New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi, Last Jedi, Force Awakens, The Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith, The Rise of Skywalker, Solo, Rogue One, and Attack of the Clones. God, we got a lot of Star Wars movies now. Yeehaw. Yeah, Phantom Menace is my favorite prequel. But I appreciate that, Kyle. And Titan BP, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Just saw the film last night. It's a decent film, in my opinion, but it's a jumbled mess of a plot that needs work. It needs 3+ hour director's cut down the line. No, I completely agree. Jumbled mess is the best definition for sure. I thought, as I said that in my video too. It was messy. Very messy. A lot going on, a little time to tell it. It felt like its own standalone, like not even connected story, other than Ben and Rey and kind of some vague stuff going on in the background. It felt like a complete just side quest, right? Jumbled mess for sure. And that's one of the biggest issues I had with it. Like, as I said at the beginning, I look at it as a movie first, before any Star Wars nostalgia, before any Star Wars flash and whatnot. I look at it as a movie, and just messy. But yeah, I appreciate that, Titan. And Bailey Clifford, once again, if you lived in the Star Wars universe, what occupation would you pursue? something boring, Bailey. You know. Something boring. If I lived in the Star Wars universe, Bailey, I'd probably be a moisture farmer. Or a doctor. Or something, a farmer? Something low-key. Right? I would want to live, I don't know, maybe even in the Outer Rim. Somewhere far away from any kind of imperial authority. Live free, don't join. I don't know. So yeah, Bailey, something very boring. You know, not a Jedi, not a bounty hunter, not a smuggler. Just give me a plot of land and leave me alone. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Bailey. And Matthew Fernandez, thank you so much as well. Where do you think Star Wars could go after this? With The Rise of Skywalker and the overall trilogy being a mixed bag, could we see content post-sequels like in Legends? Could Star Wars stay on Disney Plus for a time? Curious. Yeah, I see no reason why stories can't be told post-sequel trilogy. There's no reason for that not to be the case. And I want that to be the case. Whether it be in book... I like reading Star Wars books more than anything. Like, well, movies first. And like now TV shows second because Mandalorian. But I don't really read comics or anything. I would love just books. I would love some novels and whatnot. You know, post-sequel trilogy content. But movies would be great too. Do I think Episode 9 is the last episodic film? I don't. You're telling me 30 years from now, when there's an entire new generation in control of Star Wars, they're going to sit down and just be like, oh, 30 years ago they decided this was the last episodic film, so let's just, all right, we'll adhere to that and never make an episodic film again. I doubt that. 30 years from now, I'll be 63, and I have a feeling we'll see a Star Wars episode 20 by then. But yeah, anyway, and I would like it. I embrace the idea of pushing beyond what is known, and the conclusions that we've seen, right? So, but Matthew, that being said, I would love for Star Wars to go way back in time as well. There's a lot of eras that can be explored, right, in the old Star Wars universe, and whether it's future or past of what we're familiar with. So bring it all on, for sure. The French-Canadian Wolfman, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Let the prequel versus sequel trilogy debate begin. Yeah, well, The Force, for me, The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi I like them better than any of the prequel movies. The Rise of Skywalker, though, I like The Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith more than The Rise of Skywalker. So, yeah, I mean, I like the sequel trilogy better. I just do. And I'm probably in the minority opinion when it comes to that, too. I don't know. I haven't gauged that, or engaged that question before. Maybe that's a good idea. I'll do like a sequel trilogy ranking video. I'll do an entire Star Wars saga ranking video.
Hey,
but one sec.
Thought it'd send some dollar before heading to bed. Congrats on the house, and I hope you and yours are doing well. Good night, everybody.
Joel Lopez, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support this evening, man. Hey, Greedo, just thought I'd send... you're heading out, so I'm going to say my goodbyes. I just thought I'd send some money before heading to bed. Congrats on the house, and I hope you and yours are doing well. Good night, everybody. Good night to you, Joel. Thank you so much for the support this evening, man. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you've been hanging out for the past hour and 15 minutes. It's been a fun... My throat hurts. It's been a fun ride, man. But, dude, thank you so much for the kind words, the well wishes. Right back at you and yours. And I appreciate the hell out of the channel support this evening, man. Thank you so much. Get some sleep, Joel. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, Wolfman, I like the sequel trilogy better, for sure. And Rickard Akerstrand, good to see you, man. The first 40 minutes of the movie felt like JJ cracking his knuckles and saying, okay, let's clean up episode 8. Felt like he tried to fit his own 8 in. Yeah, the thing is, man, I guess you could look at it from that perspective. A cleanup for those who see. The thing is, Rickard, the people who didn't like episode 8, that's exactly what they're going to see it as, like, right? A cleanup. I don't know. I mean, what we've heard is that things have been planned from the beginning. That's what we've been told. I would believe all those official sources over random shit we see online, but you know, maybe it was always going to gear towards this. Who knows? I mean, was it always geared for Luke and Leia to be brother and sister? No. So maybe this was an instance of something changing. Things always change, right? Things always change. And if I was willing, if I put money down to bet, I would say this was not in the deck of cards from the very get-go. But no, yeah, in the first 40 minutes is pretty much, I didn't sit down and time it, but probably the chunk of the movie that I didn't really care for the most. No, it's like, it's very interesting to me, Rickard. The things that people wanted cleaned up in episode 8, or quote unquote cleaned up, are the things that I actually really, really enjoyed. I loved Luke in The Last Jedi. I loved Rey being a nobody. I thought, yeah, that more than any other Star Wars movie, that movie has not even grown on me, but I don't know. I like it as a movie and as a Star Wars movie, right? And I in my video today, I said, what does that even mean? I don't know. But yeah. I like The Last Jedi way more than The Rise of Skywalker. And that's just me. But I like I said in my video, it introduced new concepts. It was different. It was surprising. And that's what I want out of a movie, right? But anyway. Hope you're doing well, Ricard. It's good to see you, man. And hope you're doing well. And Luke Frederick's force healing is in The Mandalorian. Yeah, that's what I said earlier, and I'm trying to think. It was Baby Yoda doing what was he was healing the Mandalorian, right? I think he was healing the Mandalorian. I can't remember. I actually didn't know, Luke, that they released the latest episode of The Mandalorian on Thursday. I had been completely off the grid for like 3.5 days. I didn't look at any social media. I didn't look at... I literally didn't even Google anything movie-related or whatnot on Google. I texted even my friends saying, do not tell me anything. I don't want to know a Rotten Tomatoes score. I don't want to know what so-and-so thought. I don't want to know anything. And luckily, they all adhered to that. Nobody was a spoiler, which was great. So I didn't find out that The Mandalorian was they released an episode on Thursday until I got dinner with my buddies before we saw The Rise of Skywalker. I was like, oh man, I spent all Thursday kind of doing nothing, putting the house together. I guess I could have watched an episode of The Mandalorian. Oh God. Oh well. But anyway, I appreciate that, man. Wolfman, thank you so much. Funny how Snoke's Guard are stronger than the Knights of Ren. Yeah, the Knights of Ren... it's kind of interesting how, like, so much emphasis is put on certain things, certain lines of dialogue, you know. You, the master of the Knights of Ren, and everybody wants to see Knights of Ren. I mean, I get it. We're Star Wars fans. We want to know everything about everything, right? I'm assuming a lot of the Knights of Ren stuff is going to be explained in that new Kylo Ren comic. Maybe they're not as powerful as Snoke's Guards, right? Who's to say that they are or aren't? That entire sequence with the Knights of Ren, it was all right. I don't know. To me, it was more just about Kylo and Rey coming together and whatnot, and that connection, the passing of the lightsaber, and working together like that. It was a very fun fight scene. Don't get me wrong, but I don't remember it. as much as I did with the throne room scene with Snoke's throne room, his guards and whatnot. That was a way more. Oh, one sec.
I love TFA and TLJ, but this took a major detour from Rey's Nobody arc and Luke's choices in TLJ emo. All the power to those who liked the movie, but I didn't much at all.
Matthew Witchell, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I greatly appreciate that. Give me one sec. Give me one sec. Well, probably minutes. I appreciate it, Matt. I'm very long-winded, man. And I got a ton of super chats here, so I apologize, and I appreciate everybody's patience. I'm a long-winded guy. But yeah. Anyway. Luke Fredericks, Mandalorian Wars are the Old Republic, thousands of years before the Phantom Menace. Yeah, I think I answered this earlier. But, yeah, a show or a trilogy or something like that would be fun. Then again, for whatever reason, man, maybe I'm just a little narrow-minded. The idea of just kind of attacking a story that we're kind of already familiar with in movie form, for whatever reason, doesn't really interest me that much. But yeah. Kyle Ellis, the success of The Mandalorian will show Disney how to do Star Wars. You know, if everything was just like The Mandalorian, I would be bored, man. I mean, The Mandalorian is great, but you need different stuff. You need a Force Awakens. You need a Last Jedi. You need a Rise of Skywalker even. You need a Rogue One. You need a Solo. You need a Clone Wars. You need a Rebels. You need, different facets, different Star Wars appealing to different people, different types of Star Wars fans and moviegoers. So, The Mandalorian is great so far. I really like it. I kind of hope it finds more of a footing with recurring characters. But I think they know how to do Star Wars. The Rise of Skywalker is, I don't know, it's such a jolt. It's such a different, I don't know, it's such like a level of disappointment for me that's strange. It's strange. It's like, it just, I still sit back and I'm like, what? All the things, it's just like, if I could have picked, as I said in my video, if I could have gone to like a Star Wars fanfictiongenerator.com and just clicked some buttons, I feel like it would have just spit out a Rise of Skywalker script. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, Kyle, I appreciate that, man. Oh, Browns fan here, but go Jags, be our year one day. Be our year one day. Yeah, go Jags, I guess. Good luck to the Browns, man. You guys got it worse, but what's the Browns record right now? Let my brain take a split second off of Star Wars for a second. 6-8. All right, so you're better than the Jags. I actually didn't realize that. By a game. Interesting. Yeah, go Jags. I guess. It's been a pretty bummer of a season. Started off so positive and optimistic. And just like so many Jaguar seasons. Just brrr. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah, go Browns. Why not? Jordan Rennie, does Reylo and Palpatine created Anakin... Wait, does Reylo end Palpatine created Anakin theory? Why would it? I'm trying to think. I can't think of why it would, Jordan. Why would it have? I can't think of any reason why it would. I don't know. I just want to know when Palpatine had a baby, had kids, who had kids. I don't know. I can't think of any reason, Jordan, why it would. I mean, it feels very goofy. Oh, not I read that wrong. Not the Raylo thing, but the Ray Palpatine feels very goofy to me. But yeah. Now Ray was the chosen one, which sucks. Anakin should have had some part to play other than a voice. I mean, the prophecy thing has always been very strange to me. It's always been all over the place. The chosen one prophecy, it's I don't know. It's almost like the Jedi didn't even believe it themselves. Anyway. Give me 1 sec. Let me take a quick sip, guys. All right, cool. Where was I? Tom Ferrara, once again. According to Ian, Palpatine is meant to be the Star Wars equivalent of the devil, if not worse than the devil. I mean, I can see that. I can see that. Just a character that is recurring, always there, can apparently never die, has a billion clones, is pulling strings. From some mythological standpoint, sure, I can totally see that. I've never heard him say that, but a devil with technology on his side, a devil with mystical powers, a devil who can create life, and a devil who has kids, I guess, and grandkids. I guess I can see that. Just, I guess he's dead now through and through, unless in 30 years when there's an episode 12, Palpatine is back. Well, I gotta have Palpatine back because he's just a bad guy of all of it. So you just bring Palpatine back. For episode 12, we decided to bring Palpatine back. It just made sense. Just made too much sense. But anyway, Tom. Yeah, I see that little analogy. And Zach Heskel, thank you so much, man. I was satisfied when Rey died and Kylo lived. It was a neat twist on the bad guy has to die to be redeemed trope, but then that awful Raylo scene happened. Yeah, well, it didn't bother me. I don't know. Obviously when I was sitting there, I didn't expect her to die. He or also Leia, I suppose. Leia was almost influencing him in a way, it seemed. Did Leia kill her son? No. Oh, maybe. There we go. No. So yeah, that ending scene didn't bother me whatsoever. I found it kind of interesting. He was sacrificing himself. But I did like the idea that twist would have been fun for sure. I didn't find that scene awful though. I think I would have found it awful if they both survived and it was just kind of like, yeah, if they both survived and just carried on. But a little bit of sacrifice there, a little whatnot. I didn't find it too painful, but yeah. Yeah. And Justin, thank you so much, man. 85 never gives you a moment to breathe. So, wow, from moment one, and it never lets you actually feel anything because it's so insecure about boring you. That's a funny way to look at it. Just go, just keep more shit. Yeah, that's a fun way to look at it for sure. There was no time to breathe. It was all just kind of a big, messy, jumbled. I don't know. Just a bunch of glitter. Just throw a bunch of glitter. Just keep moving. Just keep going. Yeah, from the jump, it was like that, man. From the very jump, it was just kind of nonstop. Not in a good way either. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Maybe I definitely look for, at least it seems this way, for something different than most people when it comes to Star Wars. But yeah, The Rise of Skywalker, I'd probably give it like a 5 or 6. I mean, that's kind of what I said in my video even at the very beginning, which was very interesting. If you guys haven't watched that video, it was kind of funny, the whole Rotten Tomatoes conversation after we saw the movie. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Justin. And Rat Tail Tony, what did you think of Han Solo showing up? I loved it. That was there are moments in this movie that I loved, and when Han showed up, and the way Adam Driver's performance is fantastic, right? He's the best actor we've had in a Star Wars movie, in my opinion. And when he's imagining it, and he's reliving a memory, and this moment that, in real life, in The Force Awakens, the moment went completely different, but he chose a different path. Reliving that moment in his head, he chucks his lightsaber into the ocean. I loved that scene through and through. So yeah, it was great. There's so many things that I should have mentioned in my video, right? But I didn't, for whatever reason. I'm definitely going to make another video, probably a video of things I liked about, The Rise of Skywalker, because when I uploaded that video, I thought it was maybe a little too negative, but it was a pretty accurate representation of how I felt right after the movie, and still feel. But there's scenes like that, Rat Tail, that when I think about it, some individual scenes I really, really love, But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. In Phantasmic Ears, Mr. Brandon, Ben finished what Vader started, saved one from death. Ben finished what Vader started. Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, you can puzzle piece all this stuff together, right? I guess it people, I don't know, man. It's kind of funny. People think that, I don't know, this entire sequel trilogy, or The Rise of Skywalker, for example, ruined the Vader redemption. I don't see it at all, but yeah, it's fun to look at it through that lens. Star Wars is always evolving, and puzzle pieces are always laying there, and the next creators take those puzzle pieces and do something new with it. George Lucas did it himself, but yeah, it's a fun way to look at it for sure. And Reform Cat, poster for my fan film. Uh-oh. Let's see. Oops. What did I click? Poster for my fan film. Why is this doing that? Is that going to work? There we go. Okay. Oh, nice. That's a cool poster. I'm posting this, and it's I just checked the link. You're good to go. I just posted a link to Reform Cat's fan film movie poster, Why We Fight. I think we've talked about the title before. I love it. Nice. That looks sharp, man. Why We Fight Star Wars. Why We Fight, a Star Wars story. Chris Rowe. Awesome. All right, I'm also going to post the Kickstarter if you guys want to check it out. But I love it, man. That's cool. 6 months of VFX to go. Nice. You're at the home stretch then. That's exciting, man. I'm looking forward to checking it out. Just flipping through the Kickstarter right now. It's pretty neat. And A3, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Nostalgia and fan service over plot and narrative. Yep. And that's the thing on this channel. I've you know, we all love nostalgia. We're all fans, and we want to be, you know, we want. Yeah. Anyway, but blatant just fan service, just throwing crap, just bottom of the barrel, whatever. This reminds Star Wars fans of Star Wars. Here's Palpatine. Here's this. Here's that. It's something that I've never found interesting. I would take. I don't know. I like unique and different. More of the same. It's fun for a brief period of time, but it doesn't grow on me. I mean, fucking imagine if The Empire Strikes Back wasn't The Empire Strikes Back. Imagine if The Empire Strikes Back wasn't as just kind of unpredictable and dark, and surprising as it was. It would not be as impactful as it is, as it's remembered. I want Empire Strikes Backs, you know? That was great. But, I don't know, man. Yeah. Nostalgia and fan service over plot and narrative. There's two different camps, it seems like, of Star Wars fans, and some people like both, and I like both, but there's a fine line to walk. I would much rather have plot and narrative, right? And there wasn't much to be found. Anyway, I appreciate that, A3. And Kyle Ellis, thank you so much. Oh, one sec.
Fan/is epic. The sequel trilogy is definitely superior over the prequels. The original trilogy is superior over the prequels. Accept it. This is the way. I have spoken.
Lazy Wookie, thanks, man. Give me 1 sec. 1 sec means probably a long time. Minutes and minutes and minutes. I'm like 20 minutes behind on Super Chats. I apologize, guys. Kyle Ellis, can't wait for the Plinkett review and half in the bag. Yeah, me too, man. I'm very curious what they have to say. I know Mike likes schlock. Maybe they'll like it. I would be very surprised if they did. But yeah, favorite YouTube channel for sure. I've disagreed so much with those guys. But it's kind of interesting. Like, you can disagree with creators or channels or people who write about entertainment, right? And not see it as like some kind of vitriolic attack. It's weird, man. Like how people like unfollow people. I haven't experienced this because I don't pay attention, and if somebody unfollows me because I didn't really care for a Star Wars movie, great. You're showing your ass. But like when people see somebody like a channel like Red Letter Media, for example, I don't see it as hateful. I don't see it as vitriolic. I see it as goofy, but I don't see why people take them so serious. You know, just because somebody doesn't like something doesn't mean they're like an evil doer. It's so weird. It's so weird, man. I just don't get this. I wrote about it in the old Sorry About the Mess book. I just do not get a lot of the social media knee-jerk reactions for sure. But anyway. Can't wait for it either, man. And Lane Stanberry, thank you so much. There wasn't any taxations of trade routes. Oh, sad face. Flawed, but still really enjoyable film. Enjoyable for me. I had a lot of fun with it. Leia's lightsaber was sick. Yeah, I liked that aspect. I liked seeing that kind of, training, whatnot, knowing that Leia trained a little bit with Luke post. I guess isn't that a Legends thing as well? But, you know, we get that kind of alluded to and shown to us as a flashback or as a memory retelling in the movie. Her lightsaber, for sure. I guarantee there's already replicas out there for sale or being made as we speak. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited, Lane, for another viewing. As I've said, you know, multiple viewings are good. You go into a Star Wars movie, you're a little apprehensive. I am at times. This one is the first time in a very long time that I just kind of went with the flow. I went in with zero kind of expectations or predictions or speculations, and I went along for the ride, and I was just, yeah, 50-50 on it. But I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. I'm glad you had fun. That's really what it's all about, right? But I appreciate that, Lane. Who's getting a Leia lightsaber? I don't know. Alright. Tidy Wire. Anakin's saber buried in sand. Must be thrilled. You didn't find that? I found that kind of touching. I really liked the ending. That's the thing. Like, I really liked the ending. That was just a complete kick of nostalgia. That was a complete fan servicey. Hey, we're back at the homestead. But it was touching, right? It was Rey returning to kind of the start of all of this, and burying an heirloom deep in the sand at Luke and Leia's house. 30 years from now, when we get episode 10, somebody's gonna find those lightsabers. I'm calling it now. Maybe. But no, I liked it. I liked it, you know. Putting it to rest. I found it touching. I did. They don't have graves. You can't bury something with them. So put it in the sand at Luke's home. But Anakin hates sand. He can dig in there. Come on. He could I guess. Does it ruin? Does I hate sand? It's coarse and rough and irritating. Does it ruin a lightsaber? If you dunk, is it going to get corroded? Are there going to be big rusted holes in those lightsabers? Probably. I hate sand. All right. I appreciate that, Tidy. And Jerome Albert, the Star Wars Holiday Special. What about it? Just boom, Star Wars Holiday. I actually turned it on the other day. We were flipping through. Obviously, we have it downloaded, right? Flipping through. I played it on my TV, and the beginning when the Wookiees are just yelling at each other for a long time. My wife was like, "This is annoying." I was like, "Yeah, it is." Yeah, I used to every year I used to watch the holiday special as like a sadomasochistic thing, right? Pleasure from pain. It's so bad. I don't do that anymore. I haven't done that in like 5 years. There's zero reason for me to watch it again. Why? We know how it is. We know what it is. It's ass. It's fun to show people if they've never seen it. But, yeah, it's fun to show people if they've never seen it. But I have zero desire to watch it again anymore. Anyway. Brandon, I'm pretty sure No, I did, yeah. Ben finished what Vader started. I did. Maybe you missed it. Is that the one you're talking about? Is there one in between that and what you just sent? Yeah, okay, I'm not seeing anything else, so it must have been that one. No, I did talk about that one. Yeah, I mentioned that if you want to look through it or at it from that lens, yeah, I can't. It was probably like 15 minutes ago, Brandon. Yeah, probably like 15 minutes ago or so. I can't keep track of time. I'm almost 2 hours. That's crazy. This is a long stream. But I appreciate that again, Brandon. I hate that you missed it. But yeah, rewind a little bit. I didn't really go in too much depth with it, but because, I mean, you can look at it through that lens without a doubt. There's a whole lot of lenses and goggles you can look at a lot of these story beats through, right? Over time, especially. Connecting dots that maybe at the beginning weren't really plotted out, but through time, you can certainly connect those dots, right? But yeah. And San Salvatore, thank you so much. I'm the minority, but I love the first act. Oh, in the minority, but I loved the first act. It was happy and reminded me of a pulp adventure film like Indiana Jones. No, I completely understand that perspective. To tell you the truth, San, when I got into the theater, I was like, I didn't really feel any chemistry. And did you guys feel chemistry between like Rey, Finn, and Poe? I found way more chemistry between, or likability between characters, like from Zori Bliss and Poe, than I did with Rey, Finn, and Poe. For whatever reason, that beginning section of the movie that you like, San, didn't really hit me the way I was expecting. I was super excited going into this movie to see our heroes together, to see the adventure they would go on, and I don't know. I didn't feel any chemistry for the most part. Anyway, I'm glad you liked the beginning. That's definitely, without a doubt, like the first third or so. I can't really put a time on it, or a moment, was without a doubt my least favorite aspect of the movie. But yeah. And Vince Wynn, Nolan fan, trailer for his new film Tenet looks interesting. I know everyone talking Star Wars, but I can't talk, listen, and read Star Wars stuff right now. Killing time in coffee shop waiting on this movie to start. Oh, nice. You're seeing it right now. You're almost there. Yeah, they actually played that trailer before The Rise of Skywalker. Tenet. Yeah, I mean, I like Christopher Nolan. And the trailer is definitely one that interested me. I like how the trailer played. It was, it started off. It seemed, I don't even know how to explain it. Through the trailer, it got more weird and more weird and more weird, right? I really like the trailer. So it's playing with time. And it definitely, out of all the trailers that we saw before The Rise of Skywalker, it's one that really interested me. Before I hadn't seen the 007 trailer. They played that too. I hadn't seen that before. I saw the trailer in the beginning of The Rise of Skywalker, and yeah, I'm not really the biggest James Bond fan. They kind of run together for me. They're all right, but that trailer hit me. Maybe it was seeing it in the theater, man. But I was like, that was awesome. That looks awesome. I'm ready. But yeah, Vince. I'll probably end up seeing it eventually. It looks like a fun one, for sure. But I appreciate that. Enjoy the movie, man. And Matthew Winchell. I'm just so void of emotion. I love TFA and TLJ. But this took a major detour from Rey's Nobody arc and Luke's choices in TLJ, in my opinion. All the power to those who liked the movie, but I didn't much at all. Yeah, I'm with you. I found the things that were introduced in The Last Jedi interesting, right? I don't understand... the nobody, right? Don't we love stories like that? Don't we love somebody coming from nothing and rising to greatness? That's an interesting story. That's something different in Star Wars. Why does everything need to be connected? That is so, to me, it's so unimaginative, and it makes the galaxy feel tiny. And I'm still blown away that they went that direction. It's almost like, just whatever. People say this online, let's just whatever, just fucking, she's a Palpatine, who cares, whatever, just do it, whatever, like, you know what I mean? It just felt so blah. It felt really goofy. It's one of the things that I'm really surprised, I shouldn't be, that people like that so much. Just some kind of like a line, it changes nothing, right? It changes nothing when now she's Palpatine's granddaughter. I don't know. Okay. Cool. You had a really, really interesting thing going there, right? Not everybody who rises to greatness comes from greatness or comes from power. I don't know. That was one of the more disappointing things in the movie for sure. But yeah. Anyway, I'm with you, Matthew. I'm with you. I would take a TLJ over The Rise of Skywalker any day. Introduce new concepts, new ideas, give us surprises, different things. But yeah. Anyway, Matt, I appreciate that. Tom Ferrara, I think Kylo fought a Zillo beast in a comic. Really? Let me see. Let me look that up. Kylo Ren, Zillo beast. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, of course. Star Wars Explained. Of course they have video on it. Kylo Ren fights a Zillo beast. And why did it disappear? Age of Resistance. Age of Resistance comic. Yep, there you go. In the new Age of Resistance comic. That's an endangered species, not cool, Kylo, somebody said. Did any of these leaks come true? Did any of the leaks come true? The quote-unquote leaks. I'm very curious. Wasn't there like a guy who was claiming to have a bunch of leaks that was putting a lot of information out? Was any of that true? I didn't read any of them. I'm just very, very curious. Anyway, Tom, I appreciate that, man. Oh, no kidding. They were. Interesting. Interesting. Wow, that's very interesting. Oh, that's a first. Wow, interesting. I didn't look at any of them, so. I'm going to have to go back and check that out. I want to see how accurate everything they were. Weird. All right. Matthew Spadari, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Do you think episode 9 will change the way you watch 7 and 8 now that you know that Rey is Palpatine and other things? Ooh, I haven't really thought about that, man. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like The Rise of Skywalker is just going to be one of those Star Wars movies, kind of like Attack of the Clones, that I don't really have a desire to watch. Because it's just kind of, bleh. Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, like, the setups that The Last Jedi gave, I found really interesting. And to know that a lot of that kind of stuff is just turns and is not really interesting at all. I mean, honestly, what's interesting about Rey being a Palpatine? Like, it's not. It's narratively, character development wise. Like, why is it's interesting that how we all look for different. We all like and look for different things in Star Wars, and that's just something that I don't really find interesting whatsoever. It's weird to me. So yeah, I'm sure next time I go back and watch episodes 7 and 8, there will be a kind of a thought process of me going, ah, man, what could have been? What could have been? But at the same time, I kind of, each individual Star Wars movie I watch on its own merit. I watch on it as its own self-contained thing. And I can kind of differentiate and separate. I can watch a Phantom Menace and appreciate it and enjoy it and know that the next one is my least favorite Star Wars movie, right? Yeah, I mean, so maybe a part of me will think that for a while, but I think after a while it'll become normal and it won't bother me. It doesn't bother me. It is what it is, but I think it'll, eventually I'll be able to watch those kind of as their own thing and not really think about what comes next, you know? But yeah. But yeah, Matt, I appreciate that. Or Mattias. And San Salvatore, Han and Ben actually had me in tears. Yeah, that was dude, I mentioned it earlier, but that was such a great, just chill-inducing scene. Reliving that moment, that memory. Han Solo and Ben Solo. I mean, almost beat for beat, dialogue for dialogue. Kylo's reaction was just completely different. Throws his lightsaber into the ocean. That was one of the better scenes in the movie for sure. Yeah, gut-wrenching. It got me in the theater for sure. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, San. Let me take a quick sip, guys. All right. A3, I enjoy The Mandalorian, but I also think it's fair to say it's not very ambitious in terms of depth and storytelling. It's every Western trope. Yeah, I mean, I've liked each individual episode. A3. But at a certain point, you know, for the past few episodes, I've said that I like the pacing of every single episode. New episode introduces new characters, and you know, it's not really related to the last episode other than you got your Mandalorian, you got your Baby Yoda. But now I'm kind of getting to the point where I want some recurring characters. I want some kind of, like, let's stay in a spot and let's let some things play out. I love seeing a bunch of different characters, but you can't really get emotionally invested in side characters or a lot of the narrative when you're just kind of ping-ponging around from place to place. So I hope maybe it's going to happen in the second season where things get a little more grounded and focused, because I didn't expect every single episode to literally just be its own thing, its own self-contained thing. I like it, but I'm kind of getting to the point where I want some I don't know, some groundedness, and maybe that's where the second season comes into play. But yeah, in terms of depth and storytelling, no, I would agree. It's very every Western trope, and it's kind of like base level super fun Star Wars to me, right? With not very many. I mean, there's some surprises in there, but yeah, it appeals to a very different side of Star Wars that I like than, let's say, Last Jedi, right? There's kind of two departments of Star Wars that I can like at the same time, right? But yeah, I haven't seen Episode 7 yet, so okay, all right, yeah, don't spoil it for me, you silly gooses. Actually, like I said earlier, I didn't know they released it on Thursday. But yeah. Paquette? Gee, I'm an idiot. I apologize. Paquette, thank you so much, man. Movie felt like an insult to Ryan and TLJ fans. I didn't see it that way. I'm a TLJ fan. I like what... I mean, I said The Rise of Skywalker actually made me appreciate The Last Jedi more because of how unique and different and interesting it was. It was interesting narratively as a movie. It was interesting. It wasn't predictable. I don't like predictability. I don't like ham-fisted fan service. I didn't see it as an insult. I saw it as just pandering. A lot of it was just complete pandering. Like, a lot of it was just, I don't know, just kind of like the most base level. What do people like? Okay, more of it. You know what I mean? That's a good way to describe fan service. Just pandering to the most base level thing of a franchise. And that's kind of how I saw it. But, I didn't see it as an insult. You know, that's what you get when you have different directors direct a franchise, a trilogy. That's what you get when you have directors and writers work on TV shows or whatnot. Various ideas come into play. Ideas shift and change. Narratives shift and change. And it is what it is. And I kind of like it that way, you know, to tell you the truth. I kind of like the idea of multiple writers and directors making Star Wars movies, even though they're all connected into a trilogy. Even though J.J. Abrams did too. So, no, I didn't see it as an insult, but I saw it as a misstep and a missed opportunity for sure. But yeah. And Power Packers 90, can we talk about Rey steal Anakin's win and legacy? Does she though? I don't really see it that way. I think, I mean, it's a different story. It's a different tale. I see it as like Palpatine 2.0. I see it as a clone of Palpatine, a cheap rip-off dollar store Palpatine, right? I don't see it as the Palpatine. Shit, he couldn't even walk. He sat in a chair and shot lightning. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It was, yeah, cheap dollar store Emperor Palpatine. But yeah. Anyway. So, I don't see it that way. I've heard a lot of people say that, you know, it kind of the fact that Palpatine is back is kind of I don't know, throws away Vader's redemption. I disagree with that as well. Yeah, you got to be able to separate some of these things, but I don't know. I appreciate that, man. San Salvatore, not a prequel fan, but this makes me like the rise of Revenge of the Sith more because Palps was lying through his teeth when he told Anakin the dark side can save people from death. Oh, I guess I didn't really look at what happened through the lens of that. That's kind of interesting. That I'm kind of thinking about that, Sam. That might actually be a fun topic for a video. I don't have paper up here. My office is not put together yet. And I don't have paper. Damn it. I'll remember it. I can't really comment on that right now. I would need to... I want to go watch that clip and see how that all plays together. But interesting. This is better than this. I agree, Bronze Alive. I'm with you there. But Sam, that's interesting, man. I appreciate that. And Wolfman, I think the only classic sci-fi series that got better when they went back to it is Planet of the Apes, unlike Star Wars, Alien, Predator, etc. Yeah, the new Planet of the Apes, man. If you guys haven't seen them, they're a lot of fun. I was surprised. I watched the first one with James Franco in this series, and I thought it was great. And it's like they only got better from there. They're fantastic. They're heartfelt. They're fun. That's a really good observation. I'm, you could argue that Star Trek. I like Star Trek: The Next Generation more than the original series. There's certain franchises that I think maybe got better. I would argue that Star Wars was great, and then it wasn't great, and then it got a little better.
That trust put into the Sith's rule of two and why the apprentice kills the master. Also confirms that Palpatine is both Darth Plagueis and his apprentice.
Duncan, I appreciate that, man. Give me one sec. But yeah, most times when sci-fi is revisited, it turns out like ass, right? Terminator. Well, Terminator 2 is great, but then everything else was not. But yeah, Wolfman, I appreciate that. And Lazy Wookie, I'm a big TLG fan / defender. The Rise of Skywalker is epic. The sequel trilogy is definitely superior. Sorry, guys. over the prequels. The original trilogy is superior over the prequels. Accept it. This is the way I have spoken. Lazy Wookie has spoken. It is gospel. It is truth. It's all subjective, right? I would agree with a lot of that sentiment. I disagree that The Rise of Skywalker is epic in terms of good, if you're using it in that context. It's good. I mean, it's not bad. It's just meh, just kind of mediocre. It was okay, as I said in my video. Original trilogy for me, sequel trilogy, and then the prequels. But even then, man, like, I like The Phantom Menace, and I like Revenge of the Sith more than I like The Rise of Skywalker. So, you know, it's a give and take, and my list will forever change depending on my mood, right? But yeah, this is the way, Lazy Wookie. I appreciate that, man. And Caleb, wait. There we go. Caleb Kemp, I did love was Rey's new yellow lightsaber. Hope we see more of her, honestly. Yeah, oh, I honestly forgot about that, man. One sec. I honestly forgot about that. There were a lot of lightsabers in this, huh? I have a feeling, though, Caleb, we won't see any more Daisy Ridley Rey. Maybe in the distant future, but I kind of have a feeling that that tale is told and done. I forgot about the yellow lightsaber. I don't know. I need to. Like thinking about that, Caleb. I'm just thinking I need to watch it again. There's certain things like that I don't really remember too much. Like how did she get it? Not that even matters, but yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a while since until I get to watch it again. It's kind of difficult with a baby, but yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Caleb. And RA's reviews, thank you so much, man. Hey, HG, I really like Rise of Skywalker. Felt it ended the saga solid. Pretty much what I wanted TLJ to be. I'm glad you liked it, man. I think you're definitely kind of in the majority opinion there. So most people seem to really like it. Most people seem to like it more than the previous two. At least the people that I've talked to. For me, it's my least favorite sequel trilogy movie, but the fact that so many people like it, the same way that so many people liked Rogue One, right? It's one of my least favorite Star Wars movies, but I like the fact that people like shit that I don't really care for that much, I like the fact that people love movies that I'm just kind of like, yeah, it was all right, That's what everybody. That's something I've preached on this channel for so long. Everybody's Star Wars is different. There's room for all Star Wars, and what I like, you might not like, and what you like, I might not like. So, I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. That's what it's all about. And Can't Fake the Funk DJ. Do you like the part where Palp says McClunky? Did you like the? Yeah, man. That was great. It was right before he shot a billion strands of force lightning into the sky, right? I think he yelled McClunky. And did that. Oh, can you imagine? I kind of can imagine. That laugh kind of sounded like Palpatine. Now, I'm glad something actually, I kind of wish something stupid like that was in there. Give me a laugh. But I appreciate it, Can't Fake the Funk. And oh, Duncan Austin, 2 silent supports tonight. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, Duncan Austin and Duncan Austin. I don't know if you meant to type a little message in there or if you wanted to be the silent supporter, but I appreciate all the same, man. Thank you so much for that super chat and that channel support. And Oscar Rodriguez. It's sad we didn't hear Sebastian Shaw's voice. Interesting. That doesn't bother me. They're one and the same character, right? Sebastian Shaw, Hayden Christensen, they both played Anakin. I think the vast majority of Star Wars fans definitely know Hayden Christensen more than Sebastian Shaw. Sebastian Shaw appeared for a couple minutes in, Return of the Jedi. And it would have been great to have his voice in there, even if it was just some kind of like computer generated Sebastian Shaw voice taking, sounds that he did over the course of his film career and combining it to create a little sound clip. That would have been awesome. But the decision to use Hayden Christensen's voice it makes way more sense from like a broad fan base perspective, right? That being said, it would have been kind of a neat nod, right? It would have been a pretty cool nod for sure. But yeah, interesting. I hadn't really thought of that, Oscar. But I appreciate that, man. And Joey Hildenbrand, thank you so much. Hillenbrand, thank you so much for the super chat, Channel Sport. Kylo first got Wayfinder from Vader Castle Ruins. Oh, is that in the latest comic or something? I typed Wayfinger. Vader confirmed. Okay. The visual dictionary confirms the planet Kylo Ren was on at the beginning of the movie is Mustafar. Really? Kylo soon outpaces his stormtrooper escorts as his... Oh, okay. Outpaces stormtrooper escorts as he cuts a swath of... I can't read that. Who attempt to block his path. Vader's castle. Oh, yeah. Ruins. Kylo enters the castle grounds with this isn't from the visual dictionary and finds an arc. It's cut off. I can't read it all. Artifact that will lead him to answers. The name Exegol burns in his something. Knows that a source of his mystery he will find immense power. Interesting. Okay. Visual dictionaries definitely show you a lot of what's going on in the movie. A little bit of context, right? Huh. Without the visual dictionary, you never would have known that, I guess. But yeah, interesting. I appreciate that little nugget of information there, man. Mr. Joey. And once again, thank you for the channel support. In Star Wars Story, Episode 9 strengthens Episode 8 instead of dismissing it. Visual callbacks plus Rey now relates to TLJ Luke. And where did it go? And Luke restores Rey's hope as she did for him. Same story. Yeah, no, I don't see it as a dismantling. I don't see it as a dismissal. The things that I have an issue with are like Rey being related to Palpatine. Even then, well, that's not really an issue. I feel like it's a missed opportunity and just boring. It's the Rise of Skywalker built on TLJ with a lot of the even the newly created Force power callbacks from the last Jedi, where we saw the rain kind of transfer physically between the Force connection and stuff like that. But even then, it was kind of a movie of hope where there was so much. The Last Jedi, it had to work towards hope. This started out hopeful. It's a continuation, for sure. I don't see it as a dismissal. I don't see it, as somebody said earlier, as kind of an insult. I don't see it that way at all. I just find a lot of the decisions to be honestly just kind of boring and unimaginative. But yeah, Luke restores Rey's hope as she did for him. Yeah, it's it's true. I think a lot of people are reading into like these two movies as being conflicting. I don't really see it that way. I just see The Rise of Skywalker being just kind of predictable and really unimaginative when it boils down to everything. But I mean, there's certain parts that I love, and I'll make a video about all the things that I did really, really enjoy. But yeah, anyway. Duncan Austin, I like the implications that The Rise of Skywalker put into Sith's rule of two and why the apprentice kills the master. Also confirms that Palpatine is both Darth Plagueis and his apprentice. Does it? I'm gonna have to look into that. I'd have to think about that a little more. I like the implication that The Rise of Skywalker put into Sith rules of two and why the apprentice kills the master. Also confirms. Okay. Are you talking about? Yeah, the rule of two thing is weird. I'm trying to think how that plays into this. I don't know. It's weird. Palpatine back is weird to me. Like I said earlier, it feels like cheap dollar store Palpatine. And is he an attempt to resurrect the Sith, or is the clone cheap dollar store Palpatine a Sith himself? Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Palp fucks. What's up, Master Built? Good to see you, man. Yeah, I'm gonna have. That's might not be a bad idea for a video too. Kind of the reading into some of the things that Palpatine said in the past, in looking at them through the lens of certain things that happened in this film, or the entirety of the sequel trilogy, right? But Duncan, I appreciate that, man. I'm copy and pasting your super chat there I'm probably gonna expand on that. Let me copy paste. That actually sounds like a kind of a fun rabbit hole to go down of thought, you know. Let's see, what should I name that folder? Rule of two and text file. Boom, boom. Just saving it for the future. Might be fun to go down a rabbit hole of. Anyway. I appreciate that, man. In Star Wars story, I appreciate that super chat and channel support. I was sad a Kenobi didn't appear in this trilogy. Yeah, well, I was sad that we got another Palpatine. The thing is, for me, I don't really like the concept of continuously giving us characters or people related to one another over and over and over again. It doesn't really interest me that much. So the idea that a Kenobi wasn't in this trilogy doesn't really do any. I mean, like, it's not something that bums me out. It's you know, we had a Solo. This could have been the Goonies, where, you know, you had a Kenobi, you had a Solo, you had a Skywalker, you had, I don't know, an Akbar. You had an entire cast and crew of kids from past heroes rising up to run around doing the truffle shuffle. Yeah, it would have been goofy to me, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't bum me out at all. From the very jump, when Disney acquired the franchise and we found out that we were getting new Star Wars movies, I had said since day one that if, like, original trilogy characters are going to be used or lineage and stuff like that, I wanted it to be used very sparingly. I said that at the beginning. I mean that now. I meant that through this entire sequel trilogy process. And overall, I was pleased with that. And the new generation stepping up and taking the reins. And now, you know, we got a Palpatine. All right. But yeah, anyway. The next saga is Rey training young Akbars. There you go, man. I dig it. Why not? Let's just whatever. Did Palpatine say do it? Did he really? I don't remember that. Yeah, I don't remember that. Sometimes I wonder what a lot of these people would have thought if they were older and watching the prequel movies. It's very interesting to me. Caleb Kemp, once again, man. Leia was the best part of this movie, in my opinion. Love her training Rey. Yeah, a lot of that stuff, to tell you the truth, I didn't really... I found a little clunky and weird, and I understand why it existed. I loved Leia's sacrifice to save her son. I think that was the best use of Leia and the character. I really, really enjoyed that. A lot of the beginning of the movie felt like it almost played around footage that they had of Leia. Didn't it feel like that? We have some footage of Leia saying this, so we need a scene built around that clip we have. I liked the training aspect. I did like that it was short and very subtle. I liked it, but it felt strange, because even me and my buddies even talked about it after the movie. We were like, yeah, a lot of the beginning of the movie was kind of just tailored around clips that they had of Leia. At least that's what it felt like, you know? So, yeah, I did like the training stuff, and I loved Leia's, like, sacrifice to save her son. I thought that was great. And a lot of that other stuff kind of felt, you know, they worked with what they had, obviously. And it's almost like some of those scenes dictated what the scenes and the pacing of the beginning would be like. You know what I mean? But yeah. JJ said they purposely wrote scenes around that footage. That is without a doubt obvious, you know. Yeah. I think they did it the best possible way, though. Oh yeah, I would agree. I can't really see any other way you could do it unless you just leave it out completely. But that would feel weird, right? Did Harrison Ford look younger in this vision? I would say so. Yeah, to me, he looked younger. I don't know if that was an intentional thing. You kind of always, I think of your dad. When you think of your dad, you think of like forever young. You know, I don't know. Maybe that was an intentional. Maybe there was a little bit of CGI working in there. So I don't know. It's interesting. And Bronze Alive, thank you so much for the super chat channel support. The Star Destroyer destroying Kijimi scene was so silly. Now they are pretty much mini Death Stars, lazy and unoriginal. Exactly what I was thinking too. Just the final order, just this entire giant fleet. It felt very fan fiction-y to me. You know, what if there's a fleet of 500 Star Destroyers and they all have Death Star beams? I don't know. The two words that you use are lazy and unoriginal. It's a good way to describe it. That kind of stuff didn't really do anything for me. I liked Kijimi. I liked Zori Bliss was a fun character, especially paired up with Poe. They had more chemistry than a lot of people in the entire movie. But that destruction of Kijimi to display the power of these ships, all of these ships, was, you know, I mean, it was kind of like what people say in about The Force Awakens, when the New Republic gets destroyed. You know, you're supposed to feel something there, but you don't really know anything about the New Republic, so you can't really, I mean, you know that a lot of things just got wiped out, but there's no really emotional connection there. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's very, very similar in a way, but no, I'm in agreement with you there, Bronze. It just felt it's Star Wars fanfictiongenerator.com. But yeah, I appreciate that, man. In Star Wars Story, I love how Snoke's origin was summed up in 3 words. Yeah, it was, and a very, people I was with missed it, but a very quick scene of like Snoke body parts floating in a tank. Did anybody else see that? There was a shot of like Snoke heads floating in a tank, like a liquid tank, and it's just like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, Puppet Master. Snoke was a puppet. That's fine. I guess Snoke was a clone. I don't know. I made Snoke. Pickled Snokes. There you go. Is that what people are saying? Pickled Snokes? Yeah. Yeah, man, I don't know. Cloning Factory. I'm gonna have to find some time to watch it again at some point. There's no real movie theaters out where we moved, and I have to drive like 30 minutes to get to a movie theater now, and have to find a babysitter. And I really want to see this movie again. You know, because I'm sure, you know, after a first viewing, most of us want to see it again, a Star Wars movie, and after a second viewing, it usually grows on you a little more. But I can usually tell when that'll probably happen. That I don't know if that'll happen again with this one. Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and Solo, all of those, I liked them all initially at the first viewing. I really liked The Force Awakens. I liked The Last Jedi, and Solo it was okay after my first viewing. But even all of them after a second viewing and a third viewing and a fifth and all the subsequent viewings, I liked more and more and more with each viewing. Rogue One, opposite. Complete opposite. In The Rise of Skywalker, I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know how it's going to play on multiple viewings for me. I'm sure the things that I dislike about it will die down a little bit, will subdue a little bit. That being said, it could be another case of Rogue One. We shall see. I can't really predict it, but yeah. Game Station 3, I've always felt that Palpatine's death in Return of the Jedi was a bit anticlimactic. Oh, I disagree there, man. Oh, I disagree. That entire lightsaber fight, Game Station. It's my favorite lightsaber fight of all time. At the end of Return of the Jedi, you know, you got your Emperor, you got your Vader, you got your Luke. There's so much conflict and struggle and confrontation there. There's so much, you know, trying to lure Luke to his side. There's, you know, it's not just big and loud and flashy. There's dialogue. It's interesting. It's and it's about redemption. I love it. It's my favorite. It's probably my all-time second favorite scene in all of Star Wars is that final showdown between the Emperor, Vader, and Luke. There's just so much going on there. I love it. To me, it's the complete opposite of anticlimactic, man. I love it. But anyway, that's kind of a bummer for me to hear that, Game Station. I've never heard that before. Watch it again, man. There's so much going on. It's so good. But OT lightsaber fights are lame. Nope. If you're lame, they are. They're interesting, man. Lightsaber fights are used sparingly, and they're fun when you see them. They're about dialogue. They're about confrontation. They're about exposition. They're about storytelling. That's what makes the lightsaber fight good to me. It's not about flips. It's not about boom, boom, and flash, flash, and moving fast. There's more to it. There should be more to it. But yeah. Duncan Austin, Palpatine has a Snoke farm pickling business. Buy your Snokes. Get your Snokes. Get your Snokes. Get your Snokes, folks. Get your Snokes, folks. Duncan, I'm guessing somebody, well, maybe I should make the t-shirt. I'm going to make a Snoke pickling farm business t-shirt. How about that? Get your Snokes, folks. That's a really lame idea. And it would be a waste of time for me to make that shirt, but I might actually make it. What if Snokes are like, I don't know, like test dummies or real dolls, Snoke real dolls. There you go. Well, yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Duncan. And Star Wars story. C-3PO was the Skywalker who rose. Changed my mind. No, C-3PO was like more of a main character than a lot of the main characters for sure. C-3PO did a lot in this movie. I thought it was kind of funny to me, like how it was played up that his memory would be gone. You know, no more 3PO. He wouldn't remember anything, and at the end it's just boom, memory restored. Okay, all right, everything that we set up and said was gonna happen, just reverse it. Just boop, boop, he's back. It was funny to me. So yeah, if you want to believe that C-3PO is the Skywalker who rose, yeah, why not? Why not? I buy it. I buy it. There wasn't a lot of R2 in the movie now that I think about it, right? Did he really do anything? Wasn't really a lot of BB-8 either. A lot of C-3PO for sure. But you can't have every character front and center, right? Every character can't have their moment to shine. I mean, every character, you know, every film we see different characters front and center more than others, so I don't know. Anyway. Damon Pianquidillo, good to see you, man. I just saw Rise of Skywalker, so much to take in. Yeah, there is a lot to take in. A lot of well, I don't know if you watched my video, Damon. I'm kind of 50-50 on it. It was okay, you know. I probably disliked a lot more than I liked. But for the most part, you know, it was entertaining and just kind of an okay chapter. But yeah, I hope you liked it, man. It's so much to take in. I'm planning on seeing it a second time when I can. It's always good to watch it again because you always get those jitteries. I do, at least. When you go in to see a Star Wars movie, you're hoping it's good. And you're kind of, I don't know. Should always go and watch it again. God, I need to open the window. The new house is so, like, well insulated. It's like 40-something degrees outside, I think. It's burning up in this room. In my old house, built in 1942, this room would be freezing. But this thing is so well insulated. We haven't had the AC on in, like, since we moved in. We've turned it on, like, once. It was the heat. That's crazy. I don't know. Anyway, talking houses now. Anyway. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, Damon. I hope you enjoyed it. And Old Kobold, thank you so much. How do you feel about the Stadium of Sith? I don't know how I feel about it. It felt very, like, just big. It felt very, I don't know. It felt very J.J. Abrams. I don't even know what that means. But it felt very, like, superhero. It felt very, it felt so weird. Was it a Stadium of Sith? I assumed it was like a stadium of Palpatine clones when I first saw it. Was it a stadium full of Sith, like, cult members? If that was the case, that's kind of interesting. I kind of like that. Yeah, was it? Is that known? Is that known that it was a stadium full of Sith? Interesting. If it's a stadium full of Sith and like cult members and stuff like that, I find that I find that interesting. I don't know what they were, who they were. Have we? Is that known? The cult of the dark side. If that's the case, I kind of dig that. Sith cult. I assumed it was like followers. Okay. The cultists were like the Dwarven army in Hobbit 3 faceless clones. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I need to watch it again, but yeah, we'll see. Caleb Kemp, when Vader grabs the Emperor, I always fist bump the air. Yeah, it's awesome. It's so awesome, Caleb. It's what's awesome is the build up to it. Is you know, Luke is bashing on Vader, bashing on his father. He's lost control. He has no control over his emotions anymore, and he's just wailing on Vader. Boom, boom, boom. He looks down. You know, he realizes hand in hand. He throws away his lightsaber. I'm not going to join you. Blah 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 blah. And then you know what transpires. We all know. Luke is laying on the ground, getting shocked. He's yelling for his dad to help him. And then you see the inner turmoil without even seeing Vader's face. You see the turmoil inside of him. He's looking back and forth at his son, at the Emperor, back and forth, back and forth. And then he lunges at the Emperor, and it's just a moment of like decision. And it's awesome. You just see that internal conflict through the mask, and I love it. Hell yeah, Caleb. Fist pump all the way. And Caleb, Vader silently conflicted while the Emperor... Oh, you just mentioned it. Vader silently conflicted while the Emperor tortures Luke is my favorite moment in the saga, maybe of all cinema. Yep, you just exactly... You nailed it. That's exactly what I said. I love it. I love it through and through. That's why that lightsaber fight is my all-time favorite. And the lightsabers itself, you know, they don't really... They're only there for a moment. Lightsaber fight, it's about dialogue, it's about storytelling. The lightsaber is like it's a dialogue delivery device in a way, you know. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Caleb. And Ethan XV, thank you so much. To me, it feels like The Rise of Skywalker knew what was good about 7 and 8, but just decided to not have enough of it because reasons, I guess. Yeah, I don't even... It just felt so... To me, Ethan, it felt so disjointed from the other two. I think the reason I feel that way is because... Well, Palpatine is back is probably the main reason, but... That it just felt like a complete right turn into the wall of a completely different movie and story. And you know, if we didn't know that it took place years after The Last Jedi, would we have known? Does that make sense? Like, did they ever say that it, you know, this is 2 or 3 years later in the movie? Or is it just assumed that there's passage of time? Does that make sense? I don't know. Anyway, why did I go down that path? But I don't know. Ethan, it for me it was just like, I don't know, man. The Force Awakens was... So the way I describe The Force Awakens, I describe it as the safest Star Wars movie ever made. And I like it. It was just enough nostalgia and new to keep me really engaged and enjoying it. The Last Jedi was such a different Star Wars movie that took risks, took us down different paths, tried different things with different characters, introduced new concepts, new interesting concepts. And I like it for a completely different reason than I like The Force Awakens. And The Rise of Skywalker just felt like just throwing the most pandering, nonsensical, fan-fiction-y generator stuff into a movie. A lot of it, at least. And it just kind of felt uneventful or not uneventful, but uninventive and unimaginative. And again, I'm definitely in the minority when it comes to that opinion, so it seems, which is fine. It's not the first time, but yeah, it's just kind of like a meh, shrug of the shoulders kind of movie, and it's honestly, if it wasn't a Star Wars movie, it'd probably just be another one of those generic science fiction movies that you see and then you forget about, right? But yeah. I don't know, Ethan. I don't know. And Christian Morfett, thank you so much for the silent support this evening, man. I appreciate the hell out of that. I don't know if you meant to type a little message in there or if you wanted to be this silent support. I appreciate it all the same, Christian. And hello, Orko. What's going on, man? So it's fine. That's it. What's going on? Have you seen it? I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, it was okay. It's, that's the best way to put it. It was fine. It was okay. Fine implies, fine, it was fine. It fit. It was good. Maybe okay is a better word to describe it. It was okay. It was okay. If you haven't seen it, watch the movie first and then watch my video that I uploaded earlier today. And you'll kind of get an idea of kind of what I thought of the movie overall. But Orko, I hope you enjoy it, man. If you haven't seen it. In Madman's Knowledge, Huck's thoughts hilarious and believable in my opinion. No, I actually didn't expect him to. This is a spoiler chat, guys. This is a spoiler chat. Okay? It says it in the title. It's a spoiler chat. I didn't expect Hux to be the spy. I don't know why I didn't. When he turns out to be the spy and there's that moment where he tells him to shoot him in the arm, I liked it. Hux is a weasel. I really enjoyed that moment, and the quick death of Hux was great as well. I liked that ruthless First Order. I don't know what he was, but that officer. Hux, my prediction going into the movie, I thought Kylo was going to kill Hux. I thought there was going to be some kind of vying for power between those two characters, right? There's that moment in The Last Jedi where Kylo is laying on the ground unconscious, and Hux sees him there and starts walking over towards him and reaches for his blaster momentarily as Kylo wakes up, and he gets his hand out of his jacket real quick as if to act like he wasn't about to grab a blaster and assassinate Kylo Ren. So there's definitely headbutting and vying for power there. So I thought Kylo was going to be the one to off Hux just to get rid of the weasel, But I liked Huck's subtlety in this movie. I liked the quickness, the dispatching of Hux. I liked he said, I don't care if you win. I think that's what he said. I don't care if you win. I just want you to defeat Kylo or something like that. I just don't want Kylo to win or something like that. I thought that was it. It's more of a power trip, right? But yeah. Anyway. Duncan Austin, what would you like a new Star Wars movie to be about? All right, so let me take a quick sip of water here. Oh my God, we're going on 3 hours. Duncan, I've always harped on new characters, new stuff. That's my main want and desire. I like the idea of going way back in time and kind of exploring the beginning, those who discovered the Force. I've said this before, so I apologize. But I like the idea of exploring those who discovered the Force. You know, I've always viewed the Force as kind of being like gravity. You know, it's always been there. And it just took somebody to discover it and to kind of understand it, to grasp its potential and power. And the idea of going back in time to a Star Wars movie or a trilogy or a show like that would be really interesting. You know, you would explore people who would want to democratize this power, this information, spread it across the galaxy. Everybody deserves to know it. You would have people who wanted to hide it, just worrying that it would get into the wrong hands. You would have people that would want to harbor it for themselves for personal gain. You could see the splintering of factions between those who discovered the Force, and I think something like that would be fun. Maybe it would ruin too much of the mystery, but I think something like that would be fun, would be interesting. The beginning of the discovery of the Force, but yeah, no, that's just me. And Damon Piaquidillo, side note, loved Ray's yellow blade at the end. Yeah, I remember seeing it. It's one of those things that until somebody mentioned it earlier in the stream, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. It was one of those, one of those things that I completely forgot about. I need to watch the movie again. There's something like that I need to see. She built it, I guess. I don't remember if there was any kind of handoff or anything like that between Ray and somebody else or whatnot. Visually, I really liked it. For sure. Was it built out of her staff? Is that what it was? I think it was. Maybe not. Well, yeah, I dig it, Damon. In Star Wars Story, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Just to clarify, I named my Star Wars channel Star Wars Story before Disney Star Wars was even a thing. Was it the internal temperature of a Tauntaun? Oh, what is the internal temperature of a Tauntaun? Lukewarm. Nice, man. Star Wars Story. I like it. That's awesome. I created this channel before Star Wars acquired Disney as well, which is kind of crazy to think about. 2011, I started this thing. It's been going fun and strong, and I'm still enjoying it. Yeah, that's kind of neat. YouTube Star Wars Story, a Star Wars story. But yeah, I'll have to check out the channel for sure. Everybody check out Star Wars Story channel. I don't watch much YouTube, man. People always ask me if I've seen so-and-so channel or watched such and such video. I don't watch much YouTube. I'm the most like ill-informed YouTube watching YouTuber on YouTube. But yeah. Anyway, I'll check it out, man. And D. Ryman, thank you so much. I liked it, but I see what you were talking about. No, I'm glad you liked it. There's a lot of aspects that I liked about it as well, and I seem like, I'm definitely in the minority opinion when it comes to what I think about it as a whole. But yeah, that's the thing, D. Ryman. Like, I get why people like it. I can see why you like it. You can see why I'm kind of iffy about it, kind of 50-50 on it. That's what's fun. We can kind of understand why, we think the way we think about certain movies. It's kind of fun to get into other people's head and see what makes them tick and what makes them like and dislike what they like and dislike. And when people start from like a baseline of like vitriol and anger about other people's opinions, silly gooses, get them out of your thought process. But yeah, I haven't really watched anybody's videos. I haven't read any really reviews about The Rise of Skywalker, so I've intentionally not watched any or read anything, as I always do, to not accidentally filter in other people's thoughts into my videos or my streams, because I have if I start watching other people's videos, I'm going to start kind of being a pull string doll and just repeating other people's shit, which I never want to do. So I've been avoiding stuff. I'll probably end up watching videos and whatnot a couple days from now, really curious what like Chris Stuckman thinks of it. You know, I like critics. Yeah, I tend to agree with them. But yeah. Anyway. All right, so Joker fan J Money Jarvis, Star Wars story, Joker fan, and Rocker Dax. Thank you guys for the super chats. I'm gonna hop off here after those super chats, guys. So, yeah. I mean, wow, 3-hour stream. When's the last time I did a 3-hour stream? That went by so fast, dude. Joker fan 45. Falcon doesn't blow up. Those rumors were false. And then you said, Joker fan, did you hear the rumors of the Falcon getting blown up with Lando, Chewie, 3PO, and R2 inside? They were proven false. Yay. I didn't hear the rumors, Joker fan. I never pay attention to rumors. I never pay attention to the rumors. I've never paid attention to the rumors. I mean, I take that back. Like in 2011, 2012. Yeah, in 2012 and 2013, I paid a lot more attention to rumors before The Force Awakens. They were all false and all bullshit. And over the past 8 years of this channel's existence, I've seen thousands, literally thousands of rumors come and go. And that's why I've just been put off by all rumors and leaks and whatnot, because most of the time they're bullshit. Turns out a lot of these were right, I guess. I didn't read any of the rumors or leaks this time around either. I'm glad that rumor wasn't true. So yeah, every rumor, every leak, you always just take them with a big grain of salt, because 99.9% of them repeating in the history of Star Wars have turned out to be bullshit. So, Google Joker fan. I don't know if you've seen my Super Shadow video. It's one of my favorite videos I've ever made. Just Google HelloGreedo Super Shadow, and you'll see it. But you might get a kick out of it. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Jay Money, did you rewatch any Star Wars movies before seeing 9? I watched The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi maybe a week or two apart from one another. It's just difficult to find the time to sit down and watch anything for that matter, you know, with my daughter waking up early and my wife putting her down to bed at like 8 o'clock, 8:30. And that's when she does that, I usually either stream or work on freelance stuff or work on videos, and it's just kind of tough to find time to watch movies. So I did watch The Force Awakens and I watched The Last Jedi. And that's it. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, J Money. I wish I would have had the time to do a big, you know, rewatch, but unfortunately I could not. Jarvis, thank you so much. JJ brings a conflict then solves it in 2 seconds. Yeah, it felt, yeah, so much. Yeah, that's a fun way to look at it. So much like non-tension. So much boom, something's happening, boom, it's over. So much build-up that dissipates really quickly. So much. I don't even know. It just felt. Man. I might not think about this movie for the next couple days and gather my thoughts. That'd probably be good. But yeah. A lot of stuff going on, Jarvis, and a lot of little tiny payoffs. And not really payoffs, but I don't know. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Star Wars story. Weird that Palps had coitus. I thought he was too evil to hit the Nabooty. I am the Sinut. My support was long overdue. HG, you're always open-minded. Well, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's kind of a little weird, right? I'm sure we'll get some backstory there, maybe some comics. It's weird to think about for sure, right? I mean, it's hilarious how you put it. I don't know. It felt it felt, oh man, it's still one of the things that I just don't understand the decision behind it. It feels so goofy to me. The Palpatine Ray Palpatine thing. It's just boring. I don't know. Boring. But anyway. I appreciate that support, man. Thank you so much, Star Wars Story. And I appreciate the kind words. I try to be, you know. You know. It's definitely hasn't always been that way on this channel. I think one of the biggest reasons for kind of the change in attitude over the past, I would say it started maybe 5 years ago, was seeing prequel fans and Clone Wars fans start growing up and having a voice on the internet. Like, all of a sudden, at a certain point on this channel, I started seeing a lot of comments about the prequels and the Clone Wars. And before that, nobody was talking about that stuff. And if they were, it was negative. And all of a sudden, boom, there's a huge influx of people who love that stuff coming and commenting on my videos. And I sit back and I'm like, huh. And I start reading them and I start communicating with people and just recognizing that everybody's Star Wars is different. It's a generational thing. And that just being able to interact with people from all over the globe with that kind of different mindset when it comes to Star Wars has been a very eye-opening thing, you know. So anyway, Star Wars Story. I appreciate that, man. And Rocker Dax, the Knights of Ren just served as background decor, so disappointing. Also, do you think JJ or originally wanted Snoke to be Rey's granddaughter? No, I doubt that. Snoke to be Rey, I doubt that. I doubt there was that connection. I really don't know, though. I doubt that there was that connection. But, the Knights of Ren weren't even really necessary. I don't know. They were there at the beginning. Rey said, we're going to go hunt the Jedi. I can't remember what he said, but the girl. And then the Knights of Ren kind of disappeared for a while, I felt like. I never really was a big, like, I need to see the Knights of Ren guy. You know, sometimes there's lines of dialogue in a Star Wars movie that get thrown around, and for whatever reason, people want them endlessly explored and explained. You know, Master of the Knights of Ren, when that was said in The Force Awakens by Snoke, I didn't ever think like, oh, I need to see them in the movies. I just assumed that maybe that was something from the past. Maybe that's something. It's just showing that Kylo Ren has authority, he has power. He's more powerful than his than his peers. I never really saw it as like, oh, I need to see the Knights of Ren. Not every, I don't know. This is kind of the same thing with like the Kessel Run, right? Why is every single little line of dialogue in a Star Wars movie all of a sudden need some giant explanation and reason for existing? It's I mean, I get it. We're all Star Wars fans, and it's fun to know things about things, but I don't know. Sometimes little lines of dialogue that might just be kind of throwaway lines or indicating, yeah, the Falcon's fast and Han Solo's a good pilot. That's all that line was meant to show. Now all of a sudden we need to see that Kessel Run. Now all of a sudden we need to see that Knights of Ren. I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah. Anyway. I appreciate that, Rocker Dax. Rocker Dax, I meant to say Snoke as Rey's. Oh, I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant for sure. I knew what you meant. Trust me. I knew what you meant. It's been that way with George too. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's always been that way. But yeah. All right, guys, I gotta get going. That was 3 hours. That was very. I did that flew by, man. Flew by. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for 3 hours. That was a lot of fun. I drank 2 beers and a 32-ounce Nalgene, and I'm about to burst. So, I'm gonna hop off here and get some sleep. I'm not setting my alarm for 4 in the morning like I normally do. I'm gonna get a good night of sleep and work on a couple videos tomorrow when I can. But All right, everybody. I appreciate everybody hanging out. To everybody who sent over their super chats and channel supports this evening, their words of encouragement, their kind words, their thoughts and opinions, their questions. I appreciate the hell out of it tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the movie. I hope you guys enjoyed it more than I did. I'm glad we all... That's what I love about this channel, about you guys. Everybody's super level-headed. There's no vitriol. There's no hatred. Nobody's... If there is that in the chat, you know, it's from somebody who doesn't get the vibe of the channel. So I appreciate you guys being awesome, being cool. So, gotta love it. So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Let's play a fun little outro song to say goodnight. All right, everybody. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your upcoming weekend. And I will catch you all on the flip side. See ya.